G'day everybody, and welcome to a little bonus episode here. I'm here with Seth Sturgill, one of my favourite Nintendo content creators, so very excited to do a bit of a hype cast for the Nintendo Switch 2. Seth, how you going, mate?
What's up, dude? Good to be here. Good to see you. It does my heart good to see you and talk to you. You're one of my favorites too. And any excuse to just sit here and talk about Nintendo with old Drew, man. That's a good morning in my book.
Yeah, no, I like same with you. I just a couple of days ago I got the touch of Switch 2, and when I got home, I'm just like, I just want to talk about it with people. Obviously, talk about it with Josh on the podcast, but everyone else as well. Like, you know, the other day, Seth, when you first got to play the Switch 2, when you said you were doing a Cooper cast all about it, I was literally in the backyard, like, refreshing my podcast feed. Like, Seth dropped it, and it was like 4 o'clock my time. I'm like, I'm gonna send Seth a message, just like, you know, find it when it's coming out. And I think like literally it probably dropped as soon as I said that, because like
I was like, I think
got
literally uploading it. Yeah, I was like, you have no idea how good the timing is on this, my friend. It'll be up in a minute.
So yes, I was very spot on with that. But yeah, I'm just so excited about it, and I know that you're pretty keen for it as well. So. Don't I just top level thought, Seth, now that you've actually got to try it. What do you think of it? What is the next generation of Nintendo like?
It is very exciting. I'm excited to get this thing home. I mean, at the time of recording this, we only have a few more weeks to wait. So yeah, I mean, I came away from it feeling very just you know, I think, and I'm sure get into like the finer details of this. I mean, it is just like a bigger, nicer, better Switch 1, really. But that's kind of okay with me. Like, I came away from that event. I went to the hands-on event in Dallas, Texas, and I came away from it just, you know, we spent, I don't know, 2.5 hours or so just playing a bunch of Switch 2 games. And I was like, dude, this rules. Like, I am just excited to jump into the next generation, to play all these new games, to play, you know, Mario Kart and Donkey Kong and, you know, the third party stuff, and getting to do like the mouse control is very exciting to me. That's, you know, even like the Pro controller is so good. And I don't know, just it felt like the idea of the thing that we've been talking about. We've both been doing Nintendo content for a long time. This idea of like speculation about like a Switch Pro or what like the next like refresh of like the console. That's kind of what this feels like. This feels like a just like clean, polished, like little next step of like, what does the ultimate version of the Switch idea look and feel like? It's probably Switch 2, you know?
Yeah,
So,
totally. I 100% agree with you. Like, just getting hands on. It's like, I've been wanting one of these for what? 5 years?
yeah.
Like, it's been a long time. Because, like, Switch, when it came out, it felt great. It was such a remarkable just leap from the Wii U. Just like, all right, we've actually got this power in a handheld. And just the use of the Joy-Cons, completely unique. Having the tablet, so versatile, and how it fits into your life. You can play it on the TV, handheld mode, or as a actual did I said handheld mode? I meant tabletop mode and
Right.
handheld mode. Like, there's so many like different variations you can use it in. So like throughout the years, just absolutely loved it. But you know, time goes on, you're like, these Joy-Cons are a little bit wobbly, or you know, the original LCD screen is a pretty bad LCD screen.
Yeah.
And once I like upgraded my iPhone, I'm like, this screen is amazing, and I'm looking at this all the time. But I go to play my games, and it looks pretty bad. So like those things sort of start the show, and for like those like specific things that I was looking at, like the OLED was kind of like a bandage just slapped over it, being like, all right, this is an amazing
Right.
screen, and it all feels good. But you know, there was obviously all the stuff like inside of it that was you know, we were still desiring just like a little bit more RAM, chuck some more RAM in it, or you know, just do something, get those load times down. And it's only now, you know, in 2025, where we're finally like, all right, let's not get the Pro revision, let's get the full thing. And I think like for the most part, I think like 99%, I'm very happy with it. There's only some like, I think the only things I'm disappointed with are maybe like the things that I hyped myself up beforehand. just like I really wanted Street Pass to come back to it. I think that was one thing.
Sure.
I thought it would have been really cool. And I'm one of those achievement people where I'm like, I really like achievements, but for the most part, like I want to play on Nintendo, and like they're the only place that don't have them. So it's like a little bit frustrating sometimes, but it doesn't really matter too much, you know. At the end of the day, I'll get over it. And if I don't, I'll go and play an Xbox, and I've got 1,000 gamer score for this game, and everybody can pat me on the back and they can celebrate me over there. I guess.
I'm with you. Like I've never been big on. I find it weirdly, as somebody who, like, when achievements first kind of came out, I was so like, I was just all aboard. I think I have like 150,000 gamer score or something like that, and like a bunch of platinums on PlayStation. Yeah. And I found it like weirdly relaxing to go to Switch where I don't like have to even think about that. Like I find that weirdly like liberating of like, I can actually just kind of play and not think about any of this stuff. But I also would have been like, I am surprised that they haven't done it yet. And there's some system level things that are a little disappointing, like even little stuff like hearing that like the eShop still isn't going to have any music. I'm like, you know, like I still like little things like that. I still would have liked that. You know, I've never even been like a huge like theme guy, but like also the fact that it, you know, it seems like we're not getting themes for this, at least that we know of right now. You know, it's a little bit of a disappointment, but overall, man, I like the actual like hardware level stuff. It's kind of the best timeline, like in terms of like the things that this thing is capable of doing, the quality of it, the way that it feels in the hand, which I was really worried about, Drew, going into this. I was like, these Joy-Cons are connected by magnets. I felt like it was going to be like flimsy. I was real worried about that. And like actually playing it, I was like, no, man, like everything just feels good. I was telling my wife, I went to the event with my wife, and the whole time I was like, everything just feels satisfying and like good to use. I was just very impressed with all of that stuff. So again, I've got a couple of little like, you know, minor gripes, but for the most part, I'm just kind of jazzed about like the whole thing on a hardware level.
Yeah, it's going to be the most expensive fidget toy that I've ever bought. Like snapping those Joy-Cons on and off feels great.
Yeah.
Because like I dare say you had the same experience where like the first area you can just hold a dummy unit and just play around with it, and like I was just on off, and it's like, you know, that's when like I looked at it and it's like, oh, it doesn't wiggle, it locks right on.
It's in there, yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask one of the staff members whether I could just try and pull it off, like I saw some of the YouTubers do, where it's just like, try and get this off. But I'm like, no, I'm pretty happy that I got invited to this thing, so I really don't want to, you know, just before I even walk into the door, just bust one. I'm like, yeah.
Can I bang this thing up a little bit? Can I like basketball dribble it down the court a little bit and see what's going on?
Can I do a drop test? Can I check the screen? It all feels great. Well, what's the feature you're looking forward to the most? Like, you know, like you said, the Switch 2 is a better Switch. So, like, you know, there's only so many things, but there are some major things, I guess, in there. But yeah, what are you looking forward to the most when, you know, June 5th, you get it out the box? Like, what sort of excites you the most as far as the upgrades and the new additions go?
I mean, on a hardware level, it's definitely the mouse control. Like that to me has so much potential. Like I love thinking about like the different things that Nintendo can do with that, but also that third parties can do with that. Like I can't wait for the first WarioWare on Switch 2.
Oh yes.
Like that's going to be so good. I can't wait to see what they do with that. Even I don't know if one of the games that you played, I don't know if you played Mario Party or not, but even seeing just the little stuff they do with that, with like the new Mario Party inclusions is cool. Even like I got to play a little bit of Welcome Tour, and as dumb as that whole the fact that they're charging for that is kind of silly, but like it's hard not to feel impressed by it, and like playing Metroid with it, and playing like I can't wait to play shooters with that thing. I can't wait to do like I hope they do another Mario Maker with it, and I hope that, you know, the next Pikmin I hope uses it, and I just think there's so much potential, and even like bringing stuff over from PC that normally would not have a prayer of coming to a home console could kind of make sense now with mouse control. And I can't wait to play tactics games. I can't wait to play the first Fire Emblem on Switch 2 with it. You know, like all that stuff I think is really cool. I think it opens up a lot of potential for things like even stuff like making DS work. If they did like a DS NSO, it could work with mouse control. And that to me is, and it's so subtly brilliant, like the way that it works. You literally just put the thing on its side and it's seamless and it feels good. And like, I don't know. And like we're already seeing like indie developers, like there's that game from Nitro, Mousework, coming out that looks awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, I can't wait to see what like indie developers do with it. And I don't know, that's probably like on a hardware level anyway, the thing that I'm most excited about. But getting it home like night one on a software level, like it's Mario Kart. Like that's like, you know, I just can't wait to dig into Mario Kart. I can't wait for, you know, I'm sure we'll get more into this, but like Knockout Tour is so much fun. I can't wait to just go around in the free roam and single player. And yeah, so there's a lot to be excited about, man. But yeah, hardware level, it's definitely the mouse stuff that I'm most excited about.
And it is strangely one of those things that you might have to go hands-on with, because I know, like, for me, like, even before the Switch 2 was announced, it was, like, in the leaks, but, like, they're looking at the Joy-Cons, like, is that a little mouse laser on that thing? Interesting. I was like, oh, really? Like, I was like, if I'm going to play, like, a mouse game, I'm just going to play it on PC, because I've got, like, a proper mouse, and, you know, whatever, but just even something like Civ 7, like, just putting it in tabletop mode, and then, like, clicking around, you got that tiny little setup, and you can play like such a just in-depth game, and just play with the ideal controls, and it's just built right into the system. And stuff like Mario Party Jamboree, I found those mini games so much fun. Like
me too.
Like air hockey, just with like a mouse. I'm sure that's on PC, but I've never looked into air hockey on the PC. But yeah, it's just like a perfect way to control that game. And I actually had a lot of fun with Dragon Drive. I really like that. And that's the type of game you'd never see on a PC. That's just a completely unique take on that control method, because you're actually using two mice instead of just the one that you'd have on your PC. And Nintendo's utilizing it in a really unique way, and I had a ball with it. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I agree with you. I reckon the mouse is maybe overlooked by some people. Just like, oh look, it calls a mouse. I'll click around, but I think we'll be using it a lot. I think like a lot of third-party developers, at least around launch, they seem to, like, even Bravely Default Flying Fairy, they're like, we put in some mouse mini games into us. Oh, fair enough.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I wonder how well that will work. Like I'm sure it'd be fun to use in the right setup, but imagine you're just on the bus, like, oh, I'm going to like grind out some levels, when all of a sudden it's like, all right, it's time to control the airship, get off those Joy-Cons. Like, all right, so you like,
all right,
like,
put it on my leg, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. But that's the other thing too. It's just like, you've actually got to make, you've got to find the right setup for the mouse. That's probably like the only thing, because like you used to lounge in bed, or you go to the couch and you chuck it on the TV, but now it's like you might need an extra dock for your computer desk or something. Like
right, it's a little weird, right? Because like, I don't know how they had it set up at yours, but we had like just the most optimal setup for anything mouse related. Just like chest high desk where the entire thing was basically a mouse pad, and just you had just plenty of space. And I will say though, I wanted to try this, because they you know, the Nintendo reps there let me know that it was designed this way, that you could just put it, even if you wanted to, on your legs or like the arm of your couch or whatever. So I did. It wasn't the best way to play it, but I did try at least to play Dragon Drive a little bit with it on my legs. And you could do it. Like, you can do it that way if you have to, you know? And so I do think they've done a pretty good job of it, like reading a bunch of different surfaces, even ones that are not just like perfectly flat all the time, even ones that don't feel like a mouse pad surface. So I'm sure there will be like optimal ways to engage with the mouse control. But like, I imagine just like kind of, even if I play primarily handheld anyway, but I'm imagining like sitting like on my couch with like the arm of the couch, just the mouse kind of rocking on the arm of the couch. I feel like that would be a pretty decent way to, you know, to go about doing this. But yeah, I'm excited by all of that stuff. Like, I think that it's really cool, like the ideas, you know, any anytime, and Nintendo's always so good at this, like hardware innovations that actually change the way you think about controlling the games is always really exciting to me. Like, that's why I'm a huge fan of like the Wii. I'm a big Wii defender, and it's because of that. Like, it's because it, you know, it removed some of those barriers and it made it, you know, simple for people to play, and it made you change the way you thought about controlling some of those games. And Nintendo's done it with the mouse. They've done it, even the camera stuff I'm weirdly impressed by.
Me too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of into it. Like, they didn't reinvent the wheel here, but they've added like enough cool little things that like get you to tilt your head a little bit and be like, oh man, like that is actually really cool, you know?
Yeah, because like with the mouse, like a lot of people are looking at the Switch and like, oh look, it's just a better Switch, and a better Switch sounds pretty good as it is. It's kind of what we wanted, but it's like it's kind of really taking away from that aspect. It's like a whole new device within each controller, and one that works surprisingly well. And I don't know, I never thought about, like, you know, in the last 8 years, I never really thought about just like, imagine if this had a little laser on the side of it and it became a mouse. I never thought about it. That's something that never really come across my brain. So just the fact that the designers come up with it is pretty cool. But you mentioned the camera, like in the Nintendo Direct when they said, "Oh look, we're selling a little webcam." I'm like, okay. And when they're talking about, cool, we got voice chat now, and it's like a 5-minute trailer about voice chat. I'm like, yeah, all right. But the more they sort of showed how it integrates into games, like if it was literally Discord integration on Switch, I think everybody would have been like, oh, cool. Like, you know, it's got Discord. You know, you can talk with the communities. Like, you know, you've got massive communities with Carpool and All In, so you'll be able to, like, you know, link up with them, and it'll be pretty cool. But how Nintendo's doing it, where it's like, all right, we're doing our own thing, and I love how like the camera like puts people like above their character in Mario Party and things like that. Like it makes me a lot more excited about some of their games. Like, I've never been a Mario Party fan, like especially online. Like in the Switch generation, like I don't have like friends like locally really who play games to come over.
Sure.
It is very much like, you know, they've moved to the city and stuff like that, and it's all about like online gaming for me. Like even my co-host Josh, like he lives in Adelaide, so that's an online gaming session for me. But the idea of jumping on and playing Mario Party Jamboree and be like, look, and just having a little Discord, it's not really that exciting to me. But how they're integrating it now with Switch 2, how like a bullet, he'll be controlling a bullet bill, and I can see like his goofy face like grinning how he's going to chase it after me, and like Mario Kart when, like, you know, I take over somebody, you know, I can like give them like the rude finger as I'm going past, and they can blast me with a shell. Like they really are like bringing that couch co-op feeling to online play, which no other console manufacturer really goes after. Like PlayStation's like, I've never used voice chat on my PlayStation before. I play it a lot. But yeah, for some, I guess I'm not really an online gamer when it comes to PlayStation or Xbox either. But
right.
I guess that's the other thing. Like all of the online games I want to play are Mario Kart, are Nintendo games for the most part.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. Like they're sort of talking too much about game chat, but they're also not in some ways, because I think a lot of people are just like, oh look, it's just voice chat, but it is like just that little bit more. Don't know. I'm pretty jazzed about it. I can't wait for like day one, like fire up Mario Kart and be like, turn on your cameras, boys. We're rolling out.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also easy for us to say, as like, you know, as capital G gamers, hardcore Nintendo fans, people that are very ingratiated into things like Discord. Yeah, like it's easy for us to look at that and be like, well, I already have Discord, but you know who doesn't? Like my nephews don't. You know what I mean? Like, and they'll get a Switch too, and if they want to say, hey man, like let's jump on and play some Mario Kart, then like all of a sudden I'm in game chat with my nephews and I'm seeing their faces and they're seeing mine, and we're playing Mario Kart. They live far away from me now, you know, and that's a really special experience. And that's the kind of thing that, like, when you see Nintendo advertise it, it's, you know, Paul Rudd playing with his niece and his friends, and they're all scattered all over the world, you know. And I think that's like, from Nintendo's perspective, it's more so like, like, yes, it's going to be cool to get together with your friends and online communities and stuff like that, but I think it's going to be a big deal for families too. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's like I the whole time seeing it too, I'm like, dude, imagine if we had something like this in 2020 on Switch 1, pandemic,
100%.
COVID, Animal Crossing. People would be freaking out. You would be reading stories about how game chat saved my life and things like that. You know what I mean? And like, I think that we've kind of, now that we're like several years removed from it, we forget how special that kind of experience actually is and how meaningful it can be. And it's, you know, it's cool to see Nintendo actually kind of like extracting that and making it a core feature that has its own button, you know, on the controller. So it's cool to see Nintendo really leaning into that with this. And the camera too, like you kind of said, like when I had the same reaction when they first showed it. I was like, oh, this is just going to be like a crappy little webcam. But I was really surprised. Like, we played the Jamboree TV, like the Bowser live concert mini games or whatever, and it was myself, my wife, and 2 Nintendo reps in a dark room, and it totally, like, no problem picked up all 4 of us with 0 issue at all. It never like lost us or anything like that. Like, it worked perfectly, and I was like, dude, like, this is low key. Like, I understand that it's not the most high fidelity megapixel camera or whatever, but the actual tech, like whatever they're using to like keep track of your face and body with it, is like kind of impressive actually for what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Because it uses like that NVIDIA sort of decoder that, you know, removes backgrounds and stuff, which is pretty cool. Like, yeah, when I used it, like, it's one of those things too, because I feel like, you know, like guys our age were like, oh, look, it's just the iToy. That thing was around years ago. But there is something to like, just like, especially when you add friends into the mix, when there's 4 of you standing up and you see yourself on the TV and like 2 of you pop out from the pipe, so, and you can't help but just do like a bit of a jiggle, bit of a little dance, and you see yourself on the TV. Like, it's just fun. So I think even the most negative people online who are like, oh, this is stupid, if you put them in front of it, they'll crack a smile, I think. And that's all sort of, especially Mario Party, that's all they're sort of asking you to do, which is good. I actually really enjoyed it because at the experience, Josh and I, we screamed our lungs out.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody in the expo hall heard us, and like, you guys were by far the loudest guys today. I'm like, we wore that with a badge of honor, because where it was like a soundproofed area. Like, they had just like big, like thick, like bits of material around it, and it went like right up to the building, like right up to the ceiling.
That's cool.
So it's pretty impressive, and everybody still heard us. So, don't know. I was like borderline embarrassed. Like, you know, you were asking me to do it. Yeah, just let it rip.
Yeah, we had fun, man. It was shockingly fun. Like, you know, because coming into it, I was kind of like, whatever, you know, this will be like, my wife really wanted to do it, so it's like, all right, I guess so. And, you know, I do think it does remind me of iToy, but I mean it as a compliment. Like, I thought iToy was a lot of fun. Like, you know, for that, like, it is like, it's fun and silly. And then they have you do the thing at the end where you're just the most movement and like screaming you can do. And it is kind of fun to just like release your inhibitions a little bit and just be silly and goofy. And it does kind of make you feel like a kid again in like a weird way. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I had more fun. And I don't know, realistically, when we get it home, it could be the kind of thing where my wife and I play it like twice and never touch it again. But it's still fun. Like, and I'm excited for what that thing means and the way that other games could utilize it, you know, even if it's like, even if Mario Party serves as a little fun distraction. Like, I am excited to jump on, you know, Mario Kart or something and see like people's little faces pop up, and, you know, that's going to be cool. Like, it works way better. And the thing's also way smaller than I think people think. It's very like unobtrusive, like the actual size of the camera, it is shockingly small. And I was not expecting that going in, to the point where when we were playing it, I kind of like forgot it was there, you know, like I didn't notice it really at all. And so, yeah, that's another kind of neat thing, is that it's not going to be some big distracting thing. It's not going to be like the the Wii sensor bar sitting on top of your TV or anything like that,
Because it kind of looks like a lamp, so you kind of expect it to be like the same size as a lamp. But I guess if we paid more attention to it, it was like the same height as the actual Switch in like the picture. But yeah, it just looks like it should be so much bigger, because I remember you saying that in like your podcast when you were talking about it. I'm like, all right, so I'm expecting it to be smaller than I expect, and then like you see it like behind the glass and like in front of us when we're playing the game. Like, yeah, it is small. Like,
yeah,
it's even maybe a little bit smaller than I was even like expecting after hearing your impression. So yeah, do you have one pre-ordered? Are you going to get a camera? Yes,
I do have one pre-ordered. I think we are going to get it. It is. I was telling my wife, I was like, you know what? We don't need to get in my pre-order story, but I went through hell and back to pre-order this thing, and I was like, while I'm here, I'm gonna pre-order anything that I even kind of want. I'm just gonna pre-order it, and then worst comes to worst, I'll cancel it. When I get there, and the store will have an extra one. Worst case scenario. But the idea, I told my wife, like, we're going to go to the Switch 2 hands-on event, and if we come away feeling like we're going to get to play with the camera, and if we want it, we'll keep it. And so we came away being like, okay, yeah, we're going to get a camera. So, yeah.
So we'll all be able to see Seth's face as he zooms past us in Mario Kart.
Yeah. Well, we're playing Knockout Tour. You'll be able to see my scowl when you blue shell me in a Knockout Tour.
I was just thinking about like Animal Crossing. Like, imagine just having a really relaxing, nice time. You're all fishing with like 3 other friends, and you see like all their camera feeds just like above their little avatars. Like, it's just stuff like that just makes it so much more personable. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, just nowhere else is doing that. So I'm very, very excited for that. We'll see how much I actually use it, because like the idea of scheduling like online sessions and that is something that I'm pretty foreign to. Like,
sure. Yeah.
At the moment, especially with young kids, because like even if I fired it up now, for example, like there's no guarantee they won't wake up. So yeah, you might see my camera feed just like the wall for a little bit.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's fine, And I don't know. I think it's neat. I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I like thinking about the stuff like you described. Like, I like thinking about the way it could integrate into other games and other like little multiplayer experiences. And it does it's nice to come into a new Nintendo console and be like, man, I can't wait to see this on this. I can't wait to see the next Animal Crossing. I can't wait to see the next WarioWare. And those are like hardware level things that make me excited to see how this hardware handles the next iteration of these franchises. That's a cool feeling to have. Like, you don't always get that, when you come into a new console generation. So it's neat. Like, I think that they have us in like a good spot, and also like some of the new like first party games that they're coming out of the gate with, like Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, and even Drag and Drive to an extent. It's like quite different and like quite unique, which I think is also a thing that helped Switch 1 really differentiate itself from Wii U, coming out the gate with Breath of the Wild, of like, hey man, like this is a totally different, like, kind of forget everything you thought you knew about Zelda a little bit. They're kind of doing the same thing with Donkey Kong and Mario Kart a little, even though ultimately it's still Mario Kart, but they're reinventing the wheel in some ways and opening it up. And like, it does remind me a little bit of like that Breath of the Wild moment. Like, I'm excited for the games. Can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that is the main thing where, I guess excited about. I'm not just excited about the mouse on the main menu. I am very excited about Mario Kart World. Like, when I saw that game, I'm like, oh my god, they're doing exactly what I want them to do. I want an open world Mario Kart. Just like, yeah, I had so much fun playing it, Seth. Like,
me too.
Like, Knockout Tour was just. I should have gone back and played more. I should have, but I just got the one game in. Especially playing it in the setting I played it. I don't know if they did it at your experience, but they had like an announcer sort of going over it as
sick.
As it was going. So it felt like a tournament. Like, it felt like I like stepped into a tournament, even though I've never like played the game before. So yeah, it was like, as we're going along, so cow's in the first place, and it's taken out by a blue shell. Yeah, so it was really cool. And yeah, just like the tension the whole way. And I think I've watched like a lot of people's footage, and it's even fun to watch. But playing it myself, I think the thing that I needed to play it myself to really register was the 24 players. Just how chaotic it is. Like, you are bumper to bumper with like 5 others, especially at the start. Like, it is nuts. And later on in the race, I was 5th, and I was like gunning for like, the other 4 players, I'll spread out in front of me, and it looked like normal Mario Kart. Like, oh yeah, look, they're in front of me, and I'll hopefully get an item, and I'll take out one of them and boost past and do a shortcut and do all that stuff. But I pressed the X button to look behind me, and there is a horde,
an army.
Yeah, like literally, it's like a zombie movie looking back, and like they're chasing you. Like, oh my god. And like, look behind me. There's like somebody who's activated the mega mushroom. There's somebody with shells flying around them. Star, like everybody is activated with like weapons, and I'm just a sitting duck in front of them, and it just looks so funny to me. Just like being able to look back and be like, oh my god, like the dread, especially like when the tension's like that, and like the finish line or the segment finish line is like just in front of me. I'm like, I need to cross this so I don't get knocked out, but I'm about to get freaking wiped by 20 other players behind me. So that's the biggest thing for me, is just like how chaotic it is. Seemingly in a good way. I felt like Mario Kart Wii, I remember that was just chaotic for chaotic's sake. I remember that just being kind of frustrating. It would be interesting to see how this game sort of balances out. But yeah, just from my first experience, it was so fun. What do you think, Seth? What do you think?
I had a blast, dude. I loved it. I had a great time with it. It was I had the same reaction as you, where a lot of people look at Mario Kart World, I think, and they say, well, like, it's Mario Kart. Like, it's Mario Kart, but it's bigger. There's like the open world aspect to it or whatever. Great. But even just the simple change of 24 players makes so much more difference than people think. Like, until you play it yourself, like, because you're right. Not only does it mean that you have so many other people competing against you, it means that it's double the amount of items being used, like, than there was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It also means that, like, any little impediment to like your placement and your speed, like, you get knocked out, you get hit by a shell, you could go from 1st to 8th, like no problem, because there's just so many other people on the course. Oh yeah. It's like,
and I did.
That happened a lot. Yeah, no, dude, me too. I'm with you. And like, Knockout Tour became a real like tense thrill, because when we were playing it, we had the opportunity to play like I think we had like 20 minutes of like normal 2-player Grand Prix. And so my wife and I were just playing against like the AI or whatever. And then, yeah, we did like a big full like Knockout Tour, and we didn't have anybody doing like commentary. I wish we did. That sounds awesome. But we, like we were all playing together, and I wound up winning the entire thing, but I felt like I was fighting for my life the whole time. And like, it came down, I mean, literally, like when it came down to that final lap and it was just me and one other person, like, dude, it was like, had I not hit with the green shell, like right there at the finish line, I wouldn't have won. Like, it was that close. And it felt like I felt like a sigh of relief every time I hit a new gate. I was like, okay, all right, we can keep going. And it's relentless. It's like one right after the other. It's like 15 minutes of straight pressure on you. And to me, like, I came away from Knockout Tour being like, man, this is like peak Mario Kart right now. This is like the height of like competitive, like white knuckle Mario Kart. And I'm so glad that something like this is in here, in addition to kind of a cozier single player experience where I can like leisurely go around the world, collect little coins or whatever the hell I'm doing out there. And, I like that the game is going to have like both of those things on polar opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're both in there. That's really exciting to me. I can't wait. Like, we often do little like community game nights with Carpool and stuff playing Mario Kart. Like, Knockout Tour is going to be so fun for those, man.
It's going to be unreal. Like, to do those community game nights. Like,
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've done like a carpool community game night. It might have been like since like Splatoon 3. It's been like a couple of years since I've joined in, but yeah, they were always so much fun. So the idea of like doing that type of race with 24 people, and like if you can fill a lobby with like 24 people in like a Discord server or something, or you're like whatever, like it's gonna be insane. Super pumped for Mario Kart. It's gonna be great. That free roam mode, you did bring up an interesting point, just being like, if it wasn't there, it would just be like really high intense races all the time. If it was just that added, that would have been real funny actually. Yeah, because like there might be a bit where like you're doing a community game night, you're like after 5 races, you're like, all right, I got to tap out, boys. I'm
like, dude,
I need a rest.
Come down a little bit. Yeah.
Because we got to do the free roam just a little bit. We were just waiting before a knockout tour just to wait for people to jump in, and like it was just me just driving around, and I got some costumes, and obviously I didn't get much time to really sort of work out what I was doing, but. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun too. I hope maybe there's updates and stuff that add things in, because like it showed in the direct like coins and the P blocks and all of that.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of wish there was like maybe just a little bit more like just like the direct comparison to Forza Horizon. You've got like drift challenges. You've got this, got that. Maybe the P blocks will sort of fill that void. Like there will be like. You know, it showed us like, you know, Waluigi jumping over the boulders. It showed us a grinding challenge. So that could potentially actually be what I'm looking for. It's just not laid out for you as like drifting challenges, as drag race, as this and that. It's just random whenever you hit the P block. So that's what I'm hoping for. Now I'm actually saying it out loud. Maybe I am getting what I want. It's just under the P block section.
Yeah, well, it's also tough to tell because I had a similar thing where I just got to like cruise around a little bit while we were waiting for a knockout tour to get started, but I didn't feel like I got a great sense of like the open world itself because I didn't first of all didn't see anything like out there to collect or anything like that. But also, I mean, I had maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes or something,
not long.
And yeah, and so I don't know if that's like when you go into Knockout Tour, if that stuff's just not there, or if that stuff is like a little more well hidden than I was expecting or something. But it could be that there. I mean, I think in the direct they say like hundreds of of those P switches alone. So I mean, hopefully that means that the map is just like dotted with all those little challenges and and fun stuff to do. Because I'm with you. I really want a lot of like stuff to do both by myself and with friends. I think it could be really cool like to get together with friends and be like, hey, like I found a coin over here, let me turn on my camera and show you where it is, and and whatever. And I don't know, there's a lot of potential there, so I'm excited to dig into that and see how that all works, because I could also see it feeling a little awkward, like to get around like the world with like collectibles and stuff while you're also just driving on a cart does feel a little weird. Like I don't know if you had like the opportunity to get on any other roads or anything like that. Like there'll sometimes just be like people in the roads, or like I saw a little shy guy like down by a river, and if you try to run over him you just bounce off of him. Like you just kind of, I was like, I wonder what happens, and I saw like some zebras like running across the road and stuff. And I wonder, like, I wonder how much there is going on. We've seen shots and we've seen we've seen footage of like wildlife and NPCs, but it doesn't seem like you can really do anything with them. It seems like they're just kind of there. So I'll be curious, and to your point about adding updates and DLC too, I'll be curious to see if they wind up adding like new landmass to this thing over time. That could be kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I got my money ready, Nintendo. I got my money ready. Yeah. Those expansions.
A lot of potential.
Just chuck them over for sure. But yeah, it will be interesting just to see how like alive the world feels, because you can maybe drive around it and just bounce and bop off things. But yeah, it's just like how well realized that sort of space is. But I'm just looking for like a big playground to go around in. Like the idea of like just playing a podcast and sinking back into the couch and just collecting stuff in Mario Kart and doing that. It was I'm I'm quite looking forward to that, as well as being social, I guess. You know, I said it, but I'm excited about the camera, so I guess I better use it. But it was pretty cool because, like, we started off, like, our race, and it was just in free play mode. So everybody just started racing. Like, it was just a normal race, just while we were waiting for people to pick up controls and get organised. And I did a lap, and then I just did, like, a big power slide U-turn and just, like, fell off the track and just drove somewhere else. I'm like, It was just a really weird feeling. Just like falling off the track, then land on a bottom road, and I just drove off. I'm like, it's pretty cool. Then I just went down some alleyways and went under a tunnel, and I'm like, I'm just going.
Oh yeah,
it's cool. It's cool.
I did, yeah. Like we were in kind of like a jungly area. Like it kind of looked like we were. Well, first of all, we were floating. I don't know if you've seen like in the trailer, like the there's an area of the world. It's like a big floating like question block that has like a track like going into it. Yeah. There's a bunch of floating islands. We started there, and while we were waiting for it to get set up, the Nintendo rep was like, "Yeah, you can drive around. Like you can do whatever you want." And I started to drive around, and I saw like a little island off to the distance, kind of under me. And I was like, if I like roll off of here fast enough, I can probably make it over there. And I just like kind of booked it, and sure enough, I made it onto this other little floating island. And there's nothing there, but it was kind of cool that I could do it. And then from there, like it was like, well, what now? I guess I'll just drive off into the water below me. And so like I just did that, and like I was just then like my bike turned into a boat, and cool, man. Like I'm just on the water now. It feels very like it just feels very like weird and experimental. Like there's not a lot of like limitation to what you're able to go and see and do, and that it's weird. Like it's a different feeling. You don't really expect it from something like Mario Kart. Like it's not what I came in thinking it was going to be. And that's a cool feeling because you come in thinking, oh, well, this is Mario Kart. And in some ways it is. When you're doing normal Grand Prix, it still feels like Mario Kart. But then they have these weird little things like Knockout Tour and Free Mode in there. And it's like, wow, no, this is... they're doing something weird and different with this, man. I will say, I don't know how they had yours set up. They had us on 100cc the whole time. And also with the assist mode on. Yeah. Which drove me nuts. Yours too? Yeah. Drove me crazy.
I was trying to like work out the hops, like holding in the hop button to like jump on the rails and stuff. And like I don't know if I just didn't do it right, but it wasn't letting me like go off like to the side of the road to grind on a rail and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, all right. So I was ended up just like hopping, just like boing, boing, like doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I think it threw me off a little bit too because I don't know whether it was like the change in drift mechanics or whatever, but I think it was just because I was going slower, so the power slide took longer to build up as well. Where I was expecting it to go like 1, 2, 3, like go, but it was like I was trying to like get an extra power slide in maybe on a straight here and there, and it just wasn't doing it. So I'm just like wasting time and slowing myself down. But I think it was like mainly because it was just 100cc because. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you don't have to do anything under 150cc because you just unlock everything for the CCs underneath anyway. So I'm like, I probably literally have never played 100cc in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Right. And the Wii U version as well. It's probably literally been over 10 years since I've played 100cc.
It felt weird. Yeah,
it did.
I don't know why they set it up that way. And also, it's tough to gauge. Like, it's people like us who are trying to like, talk about it like somewhat intelligently and bring like impressions because also I felt like the drift felt weird. Like it did not feel like I thought it would. I felt like I was going like a full like 90-degree angle anytime I tried to drift. Like it felt so much tighter. And I'm like, I can't tell if that is like a mechanical change in the way that the drift feels or if it's because the assist mode is on. Like does it feel weirdly stiff because the assist mode is on? Or is that just how drifting feels now? So it's tough. Like it's hard to like even do things like I was trying my best to try out like what does it feel like to grind on the rails and stuff. And yeah, I can't go off road and figure it out. The only time I could do it is when there was a rail like right in front of me.
Like you fall onto it or something. Like it just automatically does it. Like okay, cool. I did it, I guess. Like I was trying to do like the wall riding and the wall jumps.
Right.
And I didn't do it. I missed my opportunity because I went past like the section that was in the trailers where like there's those big tall mesh red walls and like the hopping from side to side. I'm like, oh, I want to try and do that, but I just sort of like did a little half-hearted jump and didn't do anything. So
I'm with you. Yeah.
I mean, it was like in the heat of the race. And I'm like, oh, well, it didn't work. I just kept on going, but. Yeah, that's something that I've got to put my training wheels on for when I actually get the system, I dare say. Because, it wasn't working in the heat of the moment. But, I mean, Mario Kart's going to be fantastic. It's definitely my most anticipated game on Switch too. I think Mario Kart's always been one of my favourite series, like Nintendo series. I've always been super excited about Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. Whenever a new system comes out, I'm always looking towards that. Like, all right, what does this system do for Smash Brothers? And even though the Wii U was, a massive flop and a big disappointment, look, if I got time traveled back there today, I'd still be happy to pick that big bad boy up for Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Those games were fantastic, and I'll always be very excited to try those games and play them. So the fact that we're getting something like this, very exciting. Nice little treat, something to look forward to.
Good launch title, dude. There's, you know what?
Perfect.
That's
launch
a pretty
title.
solid launch title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, you compare it to Breath of the Wild. Do you feel like Breath of the Wild had more of a wow factor, just purely from its like open world factor? Because, like, as much as I love Mario Kart, and it is like a casual game where like everybody loves it and plays it, they're also the type of people that look at any Mario Kart and be like, yeah, that's fine, I'll play that. So, will it work for them? That's the next thing. Like, obviously it will. This is going to be a very successful game and everybody's going to enjoy it. But I do wonder if it just doesn't have that wow factor. It's like Microsoft with the next Xbox being like, hey, we're launching with the next Call of Duty. It's like, well, I don't know, I played the last one, it was fine. I don't know.
Right.
Like, it's got that kind of thing going on with it as well.
It's an interesting point because Breath of the Wild was a statement of intent. That game was, hey man, isn't it crazy that you can play a game like this on the go? That you can like pick it up and have a game like this in your hands. Like that truly was like a total like showpiece for what the Switch was. And now with the Switch 2, they don't really have that because like the Switch 2 is ultimately, as cool as it is and as high as we both are on it and as excited as I am to get it, it is an iteration on the previous thing in a way that Nintendo hasn't done in a long time, So it is a little bit unprecedented, and it is a little bit like you can't really do that again because people know what to expect with the hardware because it's an iteration. So Breath of the Wild kind of had the advantage of, I mean, first of all, coming off of the Wii when people, were kind of never like less interested in what was going on with Nintendo. And so they had the advantage of that. But I mean, also the fact that Breath of the Wild is just a phenomenal game. And yeah, it totally sold the entire premise of what this system was. They were able to get Reggie on like Jimmy Fallon or whatever and be like, hey, here's Zelda, pick it up and here you're playing Zelda, and so like the Mario Kart's not going to do that for them. But I also don't really think it has to, because I think that like they've illustrated with, I mean, even just simply calling it Switch 2, like coming into the launch of it, everybody's like, is it going to be Super Switch? Is it going to be, all this different stuff? And it's like, no, dude, like it's Switch 2. Like they're like, we're going to do it again. And we're going to kind of lean on the fact that this is like a sequel to the previous thing, that this is an iteration. This is like a bigger and better version. And yeah, dude, the launch title of it is a sequel to the biggest game on the Switch, know? And all those 160 million, units of Switch that we sold, and like the 70 million or whatever people that have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on it, all of those people are going to want to get a Switch 2 so that they can play the sequel to that game, So it's one of those things like, and even when you and Josh were on the Koopa Cast, when we, they revealed this thing, we talked about this, like, it's kind of like, it's maybe a little boring. It's maybe a little safe, but also it's smart. you know, and I think that they found a really good cross section, a really good balance with Mario Kart World of doing something that is objectively boring and safe and just, hey, we're making a Switch 2, so of course we're making Mario Kart 8 too, basically. Like that's, but also it is very different. It is very unique. And also it does have a little bit of like secret sauce for the people like us that have played Mario Kart 8 for 10 years now, you know? So I don't know. I think they're doing it about as well as they could considering what Switch 2 is. I think that Mario Kart World is about as good of a launch title of a statement as they probably could make, all things considered.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just try to put myself in the shoes of just like you know, the average gamer, because I'm like, you know, you and I, Seth, will be in like the top 5% of just ecstatic Nintendo fans.
Right. Totally.
So I try to put myself in the shoes, and like my mum, for example, like she knew I was going to the Switch 2 thing, and I said, oh, like she vaguely knows about the Switch 2 just because I've said there's a Switch 2, and that's all she knows. She doesn't really know much about Switch and all that, but she knows I'm obsessed with this stuff. So that's as far as her knowledge go. But she saw like the event on the news, and she must have found out about the pricing and just all that stuff. She's like, she found out that it's like $700 here. So she was like, you know, what makes it worth $700? That's like, you know, a lot of money type of thing. I'm like,
right.
You know, I was like, you know, what is about it? So I'm just like, you know, it's a better Switch. Like it is literally just like a better Switch, and it, you know, it's got mouse.
Come on, Mom, don't you get it?
Yeah, it is one of those things. Like, yeah, it is like a tougher thing to sell, because like
right.
Yeah, that's why they are going hard with these Switch 2 experiences, because yeah, it is like it's so much fun to play, and like the games look great, and even the things that we talked about, like yelling at the TV and all that stuff, like it is like quite fun, like all the little experiences and how diverse they all are. But yeah, it is like when you just say it out loud, it is maybe a little bit trickier to sell it to like a parent who isn't a gamer, and their kid wants like the Switch 2, and so all right, so what does it do? It's like, well, I can play along with my friends. It's like, well, I don't want you playing online there, champ. So all right, so that's out the window. It's $700, so you really got to try and sell them. So it's got a new Mario Kart. So well, just play the other one. It's fine. It's like, so
right.
There's a few sort of roadblocks when it comes to maybe just normal people, because like a lot of people, like I don't know how they are, Seth, but they're still happy with the Switch 1. You know, like for me, I'm like, you know, I want that 1080p screen. I want all this stuff, but a lot of people couldn't care less, especially Nintendo gamers. They've been told for years that it's not about the graphics or frame rate doesn't matter. It's about the gameplay experience. But now they're sort of turning a leaf, being like, hey, look, 120 frames. Are you impressed? Like, whoa, what's that? We don't even know. We don't know what to be impressed about. You don't even... what's a graphic?
I mean, and maybe Nintendo's okay with that. I mean, I know that Doug Bowser recently caught like a lot of flack for saying basically that, you know, like he basically said like, hey, like we're kind of okay to leave. And even like the last direct before the Switch 2 direct was a little bit of a statement of that. The fact that Metroid and Pokemon are still Switch 1 games, the fact that, you know, stuff like Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life are still coming out in 2026. Like, you know, like they're not abandoning Switch 1 necessarily right out the jump. And maybe Nintendo's actually kind of all right, you know, to continue making money on Switch 1. And the thing about it is too, is like, you know, I think it was revealed recently that, like, especially with all the tariffs and stuff, it's kind of impossible to know like what the profit margin is of Switch 2. But if they can continue to sell Switch 1 to like a more casual audience, and the profit margin of that has probably only gotten better over the years, they're probably okay with that too, you know? But it's also a tricky balance, right? Of like making something like a must have and making it something that people want to upgrade to. But like, it seems to me like they've probably got, you know, like whatever that formula is, they're projecting they're going to sell 15 million of these things, which is a stronger first year than Switch 1. And they seem like they're pretty confident that they're going to do that. So who knows, man? It's going to be really interesting. And I think the percentage of people that are ingratiated into the Switch One's ecosystem that are happy to upgrade to Switch 2, especially with everything going on with tariffs and everything else. The thing's never going to get cheaper than it is at launch. So it's like, you know, you might as well buy it now. Like it's one of those things. So I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of people who seem like relatively happy to just go ahead and adopt this thing pretty early into it. So I don't know. Well, I guess time will tell. But it's an interesting strategy, and I think that the comparison to like Xbox with like telling people with Xbox One to still buy Xbox 360, well, dude, it's like that was silly for them at the time. It's a little less silly for Nintendo now, I feel like, because, you know, it's first of all such a different audience, but also like just so many, I mean, orders of magnitude more of a consumer base there. So they're in an interesting position. It's easy for us to compare them to other companies, but they're kind of in a league of their own a little bit. They're kind of in their own position with this thing. And the Switch was such a meteoric success that it's kind of tough. Like, it's kind of tough to look at them and say that, you know, that they shouldn't continue to sell Switch Ones. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And especially, I guess like Switch 2 is just to keep the consumer engaged. Like you and I were sort of falling off Switch at, you know, a little bit here and there. I think that's purely because we're just excited about the new thing. But like,
Right.
Switch 2 will keep us engaged, brand new games, new hardware. But like a lot of their strategy is just about like the games, the software, and just the fact that they never go down in price. So like they've got like, just imagine each game is a pillar holding up their business. Like every game is still, you know, I guess $60 in the States. They're all lined up and they'll sell for forever at that price. And like Breath of the Wild, like one of the earlier Switch games, is still full price and it will be upgraded for the Switch too. So no matter where you play in their ecosystem, whether it's a very old piece of hardware or the brand new Switch 2, they'll still be selling all of that hardware and software, and as they go sort of down the line as well, they'll be upgrading, like for example Jamboree, Kirby, and like all these games will slowly just like get brand new life in them, sort of like their, I guess, the Wii U strategy, but even with like less work and people already owning the software, so they don't really have to rebuy the whole thing.
Right.
It's really quite interesting, kind of ingenious, really, because like if Switch 2 doesn't sell, maybe they can sort of pivot a little bit and like push the Switch Lite a little bit cheaper or something like that, and still sell software through that way. So, yeah, it is pretty cool. But I just want to talk about like Doug Bowser's statement. A lot of people, I feel like that was a little bit hyperbolic, just like how people sort of went after him, like comparing to Xbox One. It was not the Xbox One situation. Like, it's just asked him like, you know, this thing's pretty expensive. Like, you know, what about people that can't afford it? And what would you say in that situation? Like, I feel like it's just like, well, if you can't afford it, well, like we do have another product that is cheaper. I don't know. Like, like it wasn't the most offensive thing, because I feel like a lot of people are just sort of like, they feel inclined that they must have it, and if they can't afford it because it is expensive, whether that's warranted or not, that's, you know, somebody else's fault.
Sure.
And it is very expensive, but, you know, like you and I, for example, we knew the Switch 2 was coming for years, if not just months. You know, we saved up for it. We knew it was coming, so we saved up for it so we could get the pre-order down and put it down. So if somebody's, I don't know, I just felt like people are going after... I don't want to be like a corporate apologist either. Like, I know a lot of people are angry and they'll take it the wrong way, but I don't know, I wasn't sort of that upset by it. It's like, well, I don't know. If it is too expensive, get something that's cheaper.
And I've said this before too, and I won't bang the drum on this too hard, but but you know, I think that people have their anger directed at the wrong places, you know, especially here in America. It's like the minimum wage here is like $7 something an hour, you know, and it's like, maybe that's actually what you're mad about, man. Maybe you're actually just mad that you should be able to comfortably afford a $499 bundle that comes with a game. You know, maybe that's actually what you're mad about. And so, you know, I do think it's a completely different situation. I think that gamers like to just consolidate these things, make the easy comparison, be like, oh, sounds a lot like Don Matrick with the Xbox One, Doug Bowser, and that failed, so you're gonna fail too. And it's not even comparable at all, man. It's a totally different situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, what is he supposed to say in that situation? You know?
I feel like the Xbox One was especially egregious because, like, you have this expensive box that the reveal did not go well, and there is a cheaper option, and that was the PlayStation 4.
Right. Yeah.
That was the cheaper option. With the Switch
Right.
2, there isn't. Like, there
Right.
is no direct comparison. Like, you could look for, like, oh, look, the Steam Deck, if you get, like, the LCD model is $50 cheaper. It's like, okay, like, you know.
Okay.
But it's not, that's still, you know, a different product category. You know, it's still,
Right.
like, you
and
know.
it won't play Mario Kart.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
they have, like, they've kind of created their own little market. I think Nintendo has always been quite good at that. Yeah, they're not really competing directly with a lot of these other people the way that Xbox was in that generation. So, yeah, I'm with you. It kind of annoyed me to see people dogpile on him. I also think that, like, you know, he's just a very typical, like, he hasn't been in front of the camera very much and stuff, and you know, it is kind of funny to see people having to interview like Nate Bildorf, you know, and people like this, because they don't have a Reggie anymore, you know. So it is funny. It's an interesting little, like, spot for Nintendo to be in, and I do think Nintendo should have been a lot more clear about a lot of stuff when it came to Switch 2 and when it came to all these little, it's weird, like, how much we've had to learn, like, offhandedly, like, in the lead up to Switch 2. It's weird to not hear all this stuff straight from them.
Yeah.
But also it's an unprecedented time, man. They're also having to launch a new generation of hardware in, like, a very tumultuous economic situation for the entire world. So, like, again, I'm not corporate apologist either, far from it, but it's hard not to feel for them a little bit. you know?
Like, I think the most fascinating thing it's just like the last 8 years, everything's been going so well for them. So they haven't really had to message or avert any crises. But now with, like, all this stuff, like, it's like, is it $80 games? Was it $90 games? Is it key cards? What's going on? There's a lot of questions, and they didn't have anyone to do the messaging for them. Like,
Nope.
They stripped away all the personality, so there's nobody that could have gone out there or just, like, did a little YouTube video, just just shot it on their phone and be like, hey, look, this is the situation. No games are not $90 physically, etc., etc. Like, they didn't have any of that. Like, back in the day, Reggie could have gone on, like, Nintendo Minute with Kit and Krista. They could have just did a 5-minute video just talking about it. Like, Kit and Krista could have been like, hey, look, we got 3 questions for you. A lot of the community's asking it, and just, like, knocked out a 5-minute video, and crisis averted. But no, it was like all of these inside leakers saying, like, hey, look, this is the case. And it was just stirring up all of this just outrage. And they had no way to sort of put out the fire apart from, like, a social post. Like, yeah, just really interesting that it kind of backfired on them in some ways. Like, these companies like Nintendo, PlayStation, if something goes wrong, like, you know, how are they going to try and put out the flames? And for the most part, you know, they're going to release a game and people are going to forget about it. But
Totally.
but if something really goes wrong, I don't know what could go so wrong that, like, their business, like, they can see results when it comes to the financials. I don't know, but don't know.
Yeah. I think they're gonna do just fine. And I think that the proof, I think, will ultimately be in the pudding. I think that the thing is, like, it's a good piece of hardware that they're putting out good games for. And I think that in a lot of cases, like, that almost always ends up being enough. Like, it's pretty rare. There are a couple of situations you can point to in history of, like, okay, this was good hardware with good software. Why didn't this succeed? But, like, for the most part, like, that usually does kind of do the trick. And I don't really see a reality. I don't really think that the Switch 2 is going to do as well as Switch 1 for a lot of those factors. Switch 1 was just like the perfect release at the perfect time. It was so new, it was so fresh, it was affordable. You know, the Switch 2 has a lot of things working against it. I don't think it's ever going to quite reach those heights, but it's still going to do very well, man. And there's no doubt about it. I'm going to have a ton of fun with it. Like I came away from that event feeling like very, because there was so much. I was getting, and I think we've talked about this. Like, I was getting genuinely like depressed in the lead up to that event. Like, dude, I'm so sick of talking about prices and tariffs and $80. Is this the new normal? And game key cards, and like, I just want to be excited about this thing. And like, leaving that event, I felt like I was finally allowed to be excited about Switch 2, and like even having conversations like this of just like sitting around and actually like talking about how fun little stupid stuff like with this thing are, how fun it is to move the dumb mouse, and how fun it is how actually low-key good the camera is, and how fun Knockout Tour is. And I'm like, man, this is what I would so much rather focus on, is just being excited that we have new Nintendo games to play. Like, yeah, man, I'm just kind of ready for it. I'm just kind of ready to like, I think for a lot of people, myself included, this is where we go to get away from all this stuff. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, I want to play Mario Kart and not sit here and think about this. And I'm willing to do, like you mentioned, to save up money and do this. Like, I'm willing to pay a lot for that, So I like, I'm just kind of like, I'm ready for it. Like, I put down the money. I'm like, I'm here. Like, I am ready for this new generation. I'm ready for these games. I'm ready to have fun with my friends and family. That's worth it to me, man. Like, it's worth it for a long time. And I look at it from a value proposition. I'm like, it is completely worth it for me, So.
Yeah. It was interesting listening to like, some of you guys in the States doing those thought exercises when it comes down to like, what is my limit when it comes to like, obviously the tariffs putting up the prices. It's something that we don't have to do over here. But it is something where I'm like, you know what, I would make it happen. I would make it happen. Obviously there's a limit where it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't do it, or, it's just, I might play a different game. Might be, it's just like,
but that limit for me is high. As it turns out.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I bought the Wii U, and I was happy just with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and the same would be for my big old tariffed up Switch 2 as well.
Yeah, my wife and I literally had that conversation where it's like what is it? This is worth a great deal to us, And I also think like it sucks that like there are people who are priced out of it. At the same time, I found, and this is just, in my own communities and stuff like this, but I found that a lot of people I felt that a lot of people were kind of having these moments of like taking a serious look at their finances, what this means, like how can I make this work? And most of the people that wanted one that I know, like, got one. I don't know very many people who said, you know what, no, I can't afford it, I'm out. Like, I saw a lot of people who actually did kind of make it happen for themselves. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? So, I'm a consumer just like anybody else. I want to pay the least amount possible for the best things possible. But also, this is what the price of it is. And if it's worth it to you, then like you'll make it happen, So I did,
because a lot of us, we do buy an extra couple of games we don't need. We do look at the Steam sales or the eShop sales and pick up a couple of things that we don't need. Like, oh, it's cheap, but we don't play it. And you do work that out, and it's like, well, you do your budgeting, and you're like, well, $120 for Mario Kart. It's kind of like, well, that's a lot better money spent than a game in my Steam library which I don't touch, which is just a digital key but it doesn't get looked at. So it's a good moment to reevaluate all that stuff. And it was interesting actually talking to some of the Nintendo Australia staff, because their sort of thing they were most excited about for actually holding that event was getting the local information out, because a lot of the conversation is dominated by what's going on in the States. You know, games being $80, that's $10 more than what you're paying on PlayStation, not Xbox now, but it was Xbox at the time. So a lot of, like, you know, games raising by $10. This Nintendo's doing how dare they, and it's Mario Kart. But over here, games went up by a lot. They went up by, you know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's an $80 game. It's gone up now to $120 for Mario Kart World. So that's a lot of money. Like $120 is really pushing it for me when it comes to like games. But also like PlayStation, their first party games 5 years ago when they released the PlayStation 5, they went up to $125. So Nintendo hasn't pushed the envelope here like they have in the States. And and also, like, they're easy to pre-order. I can still pre-order one now if I wanted. I don't know why they're so easy here. They must have... we must have a big shipment for our little population here. I don't know what's going on. But, yeah, it seems like it's pretty positive here. Yes, it is expensive, but it's not like... it's not pushing the envelope like it is in other parts of the world. So, like, yeah, it's different, like, in each country as well, but... Yeah, the conversation has been dominated by the States and, like, obviously what Donald Trump's doing with tariffs, how that's affecting things. And that's having a lot more of a negative impact, I think, that the rest of the world is potentially experiencing. Which is, you know, it's fair enough. The US is obviously the biggest market for all of these companies, and that's where the most people are going to be talking about it. But it is something to keep in mind that, yeah, it isn't 100% Nintendo's fault, but... Yes, they will take the extra money. They'll be happy to put up the price.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I you know, if they felt like they could have gotten away with doing this a long time ago, everybody would have, man. Like, make no mistake. Like this, you know, they will try to get as much out of you as they think they can. You know. I do appreciate you bringing that perspective, though, because I do think that gets lost, like, in the weeds a lot of time. There's been so much misinformation too, and you know, like, people see like that the European price, it's like a 10 euro difference between like the digital and physical, and all of a sudden, oh my God, does that mean it's like that everywhere? And you know, there's so much misinformation out there, and so it's nice to kind of like poke your head out of the sand a little bit and be like, okay, well, actually it's like this in Australia. And, you know, even in Japan, like in Japan, they have like a totally like region locked version of the Switch 2 that is like significantly cheaper, which is interesting. So like, it's, you know, like it really is a dramatically different experience depending on where you live. And that is not usually the case, you know, and it's a different time to be a video game, you know, player and a consumer. So it's an interesting space for Nintendo to be in, because they kind of are like almost forced to set these new standards for themselves in like an unprecedented time. It's interesting. It's I'm going to be really curious. The big question marks that I have, I'm like, so, you know, Xbox announced their prices going up and everything, and even Sony, like, their consoles have gone up too. Everything's getting higher. Everything's like, prices on everything is getting, not just video games.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. Like, it's getting pretty concerning. Yeah.
It's tough, right? And so, like, it makes me curious. I'm like, so, you know, and Nintendo's even baked into their own little statements, like, you know, like these prices may change. Like, they put out blanket statements like this, like nothing is set in stone. So it makes me like kind of curious to see how they're going to tackle stuff like Metroid and Pokemon and these other like big games. Are those also going to be $80 games like Mario Kart? Is that going to be the new standard, or is Donkey Kong the standard, which is $10 less? And I've kind of, for a long time, held the position of, well, Donkey Kong is like the standard price, and Mario Kart is more expensive because it's Mario Kart. And I kind of looked at it like a Tears of the Kingdom kind of thing, which was also more expensive. Mm-hmm. But now, with everything having changed so much, like, who's to say that Metroid and Pokemon aren't Mario Kart priced? Like, I don't know. Maybe they are. Yeah.
It's tricky because, like, with Metroid, I feel like Nintendo will be like, oh, we can't get away with it with Metroid unless their sales expectations are just like, all right, the hardcore are going to buy this, and we're happy with 2 million or 1 million copies sold, and that might be their strategy with that. With Pokemon, that will be a standard price game, but this is what's really going to frustrate me with Pokemon. It's just like Switch 2 edition, that will be $80 because it's
Right.
it's got the upgrade pack, and
It'll be the $10 upgrade.
and
Yep.
it rubs me such the wrong way that I've spent $700 on a new system, and like, hey, look, it runs better, and you've got to pay for it, even though the other two I bought run like crap. Like it's gonna make me just grind my teeth. Getting that game, because it's like, what do you do? Like, you've got your Switch, like they've got you by the balls. Like you want to play that game because we want to play it. It's Pokemon. Like us as content creators as well. Like, you know, we're going to cover the big Pokemon game, and we don't want to play it at 20 frames a second. We probably want to play it at lock 60 on our new device. But yeah, the paywall for that really frustrates me. Like if Xbox has done anything right, it was smart delivery with Series X. When like I was listening to a Giant Bombcast and Phil Spencer was on it, and they're asking them about like, oh look, is it going to be like a Series X version or like a paid upgrade? And Phil Spencer, he just said like, we have no, I'm going to like butcher his statement, but he basically said like, we have no idea why you would charge somebody who just bought your brand new hardware to run the games they already own better.
Right.
And I think that plays true for like a lot of Switch games and PlayStation games. You know, PlayStation and Nintendo are taking the same sort of route. With Switch 2, it's not as bad because it is like, you know, with Kirby, you're getting new content and all of this, but it seems like Pokemon, it is just the performance. That's all they've mentioned so far. So, I'll be paying close eye to how much extra the Switch 2 version will be because, I don't feel like Pokemon's in a position where, you know, with its hardcore fans who are buying Switch 2s, I don't think they're in a position where it's like, hey, look, you're finally getting it, but you will be paying like an upgrade pack. That rubs me such the wrong way.
Right.
Ugh.
Yep. I'm with you. It's you know, it's a little bit easier to swallow with something like Metroid because it's going to run like even Metroid, like you've got like the mouse mode and stuff. Like it's like a new way to actually control it on the new thing. So I get it. But yeah, Pokemon, it's almost like, hey, pay for like get the Switch 2, pay for the upgrade pack so that it will look and run the way it just should anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Because like with Metroid Prime 4, I feel like it will be fine on Switch. Like it'll be fine, but really like basically for Pokemon, I feel like I'm going to be paying to fix it, like to actually mend it. Like it feels like I've got like a cracked vase. I'm like, all right. So do I have to pay to get this fixed? Like, yeah, you do. Okay. I'll go and get the glue and I'll fix it myself. It kind of feels like that. But yeah, that's just the state I am with Pokemon at the moment. It's just like whenever I bring it up, I'm just like, ugh.
I know.
I love this series. I freaking love Pokemon. It's just, I can't believe it. I don't know how they make so much money and they do what they do. But yeah, that's like the only aspect of like Nintendo where I'm just like, don't know, step in and do something. Shigeru Miyamoto, do something.
Come on, Miyamoto, get in there. I want to, you read those old stories. You ever read those old stories about Miyamoto? Like back in the day, he'd be in the bullpen, like chain smoking cigarettes and whatever, and he'd be like, you know, telling, like getting people and steering the ship right. I want that Miyamoto back, man.
Yeah, bring back the hard boy.
I want like that Miyamoto to come in and right the ship in there. No more of this like warm, smiley grandfather old man, you know, like I want him to come in there and start making things happen. Yeah, I don't know. That could be honestly the Game Freak Pokemon Company thing could probably be a whole other podcast, but I'm still looking forward to it. Like I think the game looks fun. You know, and I pretty much anything. Like I also got to play Kirby at the event, and I was like, man, like this is like I can't wait to like replay Kirby in the Forgotten Land on Switch 2. Like it looks and runs so much better, and it has new content, and like so on the same like the same token, I'm like, man, I'm also just stoked to play this on Switch 2. So it's like it's tough. It's a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, like I'm excited for Kirby, like just having it 60 FPS and 1440p. and extra content. Like, yeah, sure. You know, I think
Looks
it's
great.
It's $30 here for the upgrade pack. I think it might be 10 or 20 over in the
20
States for
here.
you guys. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, yeah, I'll slide $30 over for more of this. Cool.
Yeah.
And I like how they're going about it. Like, if it was just the performance, it's like, oh Jesus, like, come on, guys. And
Right.
it's kind of hard to know what game's going to get what, because like Mario Odyssey, it looks like it's getting a pretty good glow up for free. So it's kind of a little bit confusing in some ways.
A little
like,
weird, right?
It's like,
yeah.
It's like, out of all the games, it's kind of like Mario Odyssey. You thought would have been one of those to include with that nice price tag on it for Nintendo. But yeah, it's like then like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like it's got added content, but it's in a weird way with the phone app, and like
right.
it's like, yeah, it's like a decent amount. It's like $20, I think, for the upgrade pack.
And it's also like, and it's also bundled in with NSO. And I'm a little bit like, for the $10 ones, why not just do that with more of those? You know, like, why not add even more value to NSO if you're already doing it for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? You would think that those would be two big cash cows, man. So I don't know. I'm also like, there are a couple of games that I'm truly surprised are not getting that treatment. Like Animal Crossing, I can't believe they don't have a Switch 2 version of that announced. I can't, you know, something like Pikmin 4, I think would make perfect sense for a Switch 2 version with new content and whatever. And on one hand, I hope they end up doing that. On the other hand, I hope it's because they're making new games, you know, for Switch 2. So
surely,
yeah, like you gotta imagine, right? And I don't want them to like, I don't want them to just like stick on that too much. I don't want them to lean into this too hard. Like, I'm glad they're doing it for this like launch year. I think it makes a lot of sense to bridge the gap. But 3 years from now, I don't want them to still be like, here's ARMS Switch 2 edition. You know what I mean?
Like, you know they will be, though. That's the problem. They're going to be treating these Switch 2 editions much like they did with the Wii U catalog, where they are slowly putting them out. But
right.
Yeah, that's right. Like for example, I really want an upgrade for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Even if we get another, like, I'll be there for the next Smash, but I would really appreciate just like 1440p or even like 120 FPS mode at 70, like whatever have you. That'd be great. Just give me that. Like, don't have to go too much into it, but that's not gonna put me off getting the new Smash Brothers. And it's the same with Animal Crossing. Like, it's still fun to go back to New Leaf. It's still fun to go back to like previous Animal Crossing games, because they've all got little differences and all that. So people are still going to be bouncing between like New Horizons and brand new Switch 2 version of Animal Crossing. It would be nice just to get those load times down, and you know, especially also what I'm just wondering how it works. And I assume it's just going to be locked to how it is on Switch. Like, if you play Animal Crossing New Horizons on your Switch 2, I think you'll be playing it at 720p just on the Switch 2 screen, which is kind of disappointing. Like, that's the biggest thing for me, is just make sure the resolution gets bumped up that little bit and the frame rate goes up.
That is going to be weird. Yeah. Is that how they're going to do it? Is it just going to like be stretched to the 1080 or whatever with the Switch 2 screen? That is weird. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. And that's the other thing as well. Just like, it's a bigger screen, so it will be more noticeable. So I was listening to Nintendo Shack, and Donnie they were talking about this, and they were saying, he said like, I assume that it'll run in docked mode. Like, they'll just, you know, use the upclock specs of the Switch 1 and then be able to output it in 1080p. And that sounds a bit too optimistic, I feel.
Sure. Yeah.
But hey, that's a possibility. They could tell it to run in docked mode, and that could fix it, I guess. That could fix that.
It'd be
little
nice.
issue.
I mean, I kind of hope so. I'm just surprised that they didn't I'm surprised that they didn't literally go through the top 10 or 20 or whatever best-selling Nintendo Switch games and say, these are all getting upgrades. And just like, literally, these are the most popular ones. These are the ones that you probably have. So things like Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, Zelda, you know, Mario Kart, all this stuff, and just like blanket, like all of these things are getting upgrades, because that's the stuff that people probably have. You know what I mean? And if you're looking to get people to upgrade or go over, there are people in our communities that are like, you know, like even people who missed out on the Switch era, and now all of a sudden they're picking up Switch 2 and they've got fancy new versions of. Could you imagine like coming into Switch 2 having not played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom?
God,
and
it'd be
Kirby
daunting. It'd be so daunting. Jesus
like,
Christ, where would you start?
Like, it's crazy. Like that's the kind of stuff that I think about. There's so many different approaches to it. There's so many different ways to be like a Nintendo fan and to be like coming into this ecosystem. And it is interesting that like they've with Switch 2 kind of catered to all of those different things in some way. So I do have to like check myself a little bit sometimes, and I get critical of these things. I have to think about it from the wider perspective, but I can't wait. Like I don't know if you got to play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom at your event, but
yeah,
like,
I did. I played Tears of the Kingdom in handheld, and then I played Breath of the Wild on the TV.
Isn't it weird? Like just to see it like running that well, it was weird to me. I was like, I feel like this is like wrong. Like it feels like like a ROM hack or something. Like I'm looking at like one of those videos of people who like, you know, pirated it and like modded it on their PC. It felt like I was like watching one of those, but I was playing it.
Yeah, it was strange because like, yeah, just the thing I noticed the most is just the frame rate. Just how smooth it is. And playing like it just looks great. Yeah. The only thing like Breath of the Wild, when I was playing it on the TV, it looked like a bit washed out. And I was looking at Josh on like the TV next to us. I looked over and he was playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, that looks beautiful. Like it looked like the HDR hadn't kicked in on the TV, but I was playing on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh. But like on the actual handheld as well, like Tears of the Kingdom, like this is just beautiful, like the colors and everything, and like the frame rate and the 1080p on the handheld. I'm like, yeah, it's just
the screen looks great.
It does.
I was really surprised at how good the screen looks. Yeah,
yeah, and I'm very happy about that because like I've
Me
been
too.
An OLED only person like since getting the Switch OLED. I guess I'm like, look, if I get like a Steam Deck or a TV or anything, like if it's not OLED, I'm not going to bother. Like, you know, I'll save up the money for the extra bit. So with all of the rumors about the Switch 2 not having an OLED screen, I'm like, oh, like I was really disappointed.
Right.
But it wasn't until I got the PlayStation Portal actually that has a great screen on it. I'm like, there is hope. There is hope for the Switch 2. And yeah, when the trailers come out and the impressions come out and getting to use it for myself, there was nothing in the back of my mind where I said to myself, I need an OLED. There was like, you can tell the differences between the blacks. That's for sure.
Right.
Because that is the main thing with an OLED screen. Just like the blacks aren't lit up, but yeah, like outside in Tears of the Kingdom, like it was just the opening area, like those beautiful like autumn leaves and everything. It was just I'm like, it looks great. There's if they do an OLED screen, I'm like, I don't know. Do I need my blacks to look that good? And the answer would probably be yes. Might be yes, but I'm a psycho, so.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'd probably get it, but I would think about it a little more strongly than I thought about the last one. Because I do, like, my wife's got one of the Animal Crossing Switch ones, and when you look at that compared to an OLED, it's a like crazy difference. It's insane.
Yeah, just nuts.
But like I was surprised, like going to this and playing in handheld mode and playing Breath of the Wild in handheld mode, and being like, okay, like this is not as big. Like there is a difference, but it's bright, it's vibrant. The refresh rate on it, like it looks great, and the whole thing like just feels premium. It just feels good, like it. And I don't know, like I was really happy with that. Like that was another like big worry that I had going in, was like I was worried it wasn't going to feel good in the hand, and I was worried that the screen wasn't going to look good compared to the OLED. And both of those, I was like pleasantly surprised. Actually, I think in both cases exceeded my expectations. The screen I think looked better than I even thought it would in the best case. And it felt better to hold than I thought it would too. So I was pretty pleased with all of that as somebody who plays primarily in handheld. So, yeah.
Do you think you'll need a grip or anything like that when you're playing the Switch 2? I've actually got one already. I've got one like in the cupboard ready to go. I got a Skull and Co one, and it's interesting because like obviously I don't have the Switch 2. I was gonna bring it with me so I could like put it in and like
snap it in. See,
be the first person to test out like the case with a real Switch 2, but I forgot it. That was a missed opportunity, I guess. But yeah, like when I first got it, like that was my first like gauge of how big the Switch 2 is. So yeah, I reckon once like that beautiful screen is into that grip, it's gonna feel so good to play. Like that extra size for adults like us, I guess. Like it's just that extra length, just like to your palm rather than like halfway down your hand or whatever. It just it makes a lot of difference. I still felt like a little bit of like fatigue in my fingers, just like across the back of it. But yeah, I don't mind that because you can like chuck any grip on it. Like you can choose any one you want, but like with like stuff like the Steam Deck and like stuff that already has grips, if you don't like those grips, you know, you kind of shit out of luck. You can't really customize them too much with grips. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I might get one. I don't know. It's going to be interesting because like obviously, you know, at the event, I didn't get that much time to like mess with it and see how it would be with like a long, you know, extended session. It doesn't bother me with Switch 1 as I think it does most people. Now, I do have, actually, it is a Skull & Co. grip for my Switch OLED, and I use it from time to time if I'm, like, going on a trip, if I'm on a plane or whatever. I don't normally wind up playing it anyway, but I bring it with me, and I think about it.
Of course.
And I
got to always have it.
I always got that thing on me, you know, and I you know, I'll bring it with me or something like that. And it's nice, like it feels good in the hand and stuff, but oftentimes I find myself not feeling like I really need it. The big thing for me, weirdly enough, is the thumbsticks. And if I had any like complaint with the way the Switch 2 feels, I wish, and this is a totally selfish wish because I know why. Like I know why the thumbsticks aren't bigger, but I do wish the thumbsticks were bigger. Like I find my thumbs like slipping off of those things a lot, or having to like kind of reset my thumb onto the sticks, and especially when like the Pro Controller 2 feels so good, like it makes me wish the Joy-Cons like literally just felt like that, you know. But still, that's a very minor nitpick. I might wind up getting a grip depending on if I get this thing home and I find myself playing a bunch of handheld stuff and I feel like I need it, I'll spring for it and I'll get one. But just messing with my hunch is that I'll be okay with it, just with the limited time that I've had with it so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, I seem to jump between like I just play it. Sometimes I just raw dog the Switch. Other times I put a grip on it. I've got like that, I forgot what it's called now, but that like big unit that you slide the Switch into and it's like a full controller. I've got one. I've got one of them. Like, you know, sometimes I just get bored of a certain setup and I just go to the next one.
Sure.
I do have just like a normal carry case pre-ordered, so there is the intention of just having the Switch 2 as is, because I will have to take it out of that grip to put it in the dock, so it's not like it can just stay like that all the time anyway. But yeah, let's talk about the controllers, because you brought up the Pro controllers. Like I heard on, I forgot the name of the YouTube channel. I think I've actually got it right up here. I should just give him a little shout out.
Yeah, give him a plug. Give him a little shout out.
128KB. They're doing like a bunch of Switch 2 coverage, and
really good Switch 2 coverage, by the way, too. I'd never heard of them before, but it's really good. Yeah.
The bunch of UK boys, I think, from their accents.
I think so. Yeah.
They popped up and they're just really hammering home how good this Pro controller is, especially at the time where everybody's like, man, it's so expensive. Why would you bother? You know, all that type of stuff. And these guys are like, man, the sticks feel great. So that was the first time I heard about these sticks. I'm like, all right, so it's got good sticks, cool. And then that interview with the engineers at Nintendo come out, and they actually specified that they put a lot of effort into these analog sticks. All right, these sticks. And then Seth Sturgill went and got hands on with the Nintendo Switch 2, and he says, guys, like I was in the the Discord, and like I see you talking about these sticks and how good the sticks are. All right, so there's something about these sticks. So I was very excited to like, all right, what do these sticks feel like? That was like, you know, top 3 like things I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel the Switch, the Joy-Con, all this stuff, the magnets, and I wanted to feel the Pro Controller 2 sticks. And it is funny because we got a question for the House of Mario from Luke in our Discord, and he says, like, what do people mean by this, like, the smooth feeling sticks? So my idea was to try and answer this question, you know, with I guess to make it make more sense to people that haven't. And we recorded the House of Mario last night at the time of recording this. And I'm trying to, like, put it into words, but I really don't know how to say it.
It's tough, dude.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Like, as a podcaster, I'm a Nintendo podcaster. I've really got to put this message out to people that need to, like, you know, would like to know this information. But I really don't know how to put it into words, because, like, I certainly like still had curiosity when, you know, you and others were saying about these sticks. But I myself, I am now in the same camp as you guys, being like, yes, they're smooth sticks.
Those sticks feel great. I'm really actually excited to see, like, channels that do, like, breakdowns, you know, like hardware breakdowns, take it apart, figure out exactly what's going on. Because I don't know what the hell they're doing with those sticks, dude. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it feels like, I've tried to describe it, but, like, it feels like there's just, they're sitting on nothing. Like, there's no... It feels so smooth, like the way that they just... Normally, there's like a little intangible bit of resistance when you're holding a controller and you're moving your stick around. But, like, these just feel like they're sitting on, like, a cloud. Like, they're just there. And so, like, it creates this sensation, or at least it did for me when I was playing, like, Donkey Kong with it. And like, holding this thing and moving those sticks around... I felt like my thumbs were, like, sinking into the controller or something. Like, it was like it felt like when you go and, like, you upgrade your mattress or something like that, and, like, you're getting used to, like, a new mattress, and you're like, hang on, like, I didn't know that I was thirsty, but turns out I am parched, man, and, like, this is quenching my thirst, you know. That was the feeling I got playing that Pro Controller 2 for the first time, was like, yeah, I didn't know that I wanted this, because I would have been personally totally happy to just keep using my Pro Controller. I like the Pro Controller quite a bit. I would have been fine to just connect that to my Switch 2, no problem. But playing with it at this event, I was like, yep, I guess I'm getting one of these, because it is so comfortable, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. It feels great. And I was very impressed.
Yeah, when I was trying to articulate, like, how I felt, because you sort of, like, I've got my Pro Controller here now, and, like, when you go to, like, you hold it, like, to the right, you can feel it wanting to move back to the center. Right. And, like, when the Pro Controller 2, like, it's not doing that. Like, you can't feel that. You can't feel that pressure to move it back. When you do let go of it, it does snap back. Because what I had problem with how I was trying to articulate it that way is that it makes it sound like it's just a loose control stick.
Just dangling around.
But it's not. And when, like, you move it around in the 360, like, it feels, you don't feel the edge, like, going against the plastic or anything. It's just like, it just feels smooth. Because I was playing Mario Kart, so this was my first time playing Knockout Tour. So, like, I'm trying to take in Mario Kart, I'm trying to take in the Pro Controller at the same time. So, I'm just, like, looking down a little bit. So, it does feel nice as I'm playing Mario Kart and I get hit by something. So there's, like, a lot to take in all at once. But yeah, I'm excited about the Pro Controller too. It just feels like a nice premium controller. Like,
feels great.
And I'm somebody I'm used to premium controllers. I've got the DualSense Edge on PS5. That controller feels great. It's got nice rubberized handles. Like, you can change the sticks in and out. It's got the back paddle, all of the stuff you want on the controller. But yeah, like, this thing, like, just the finish feels great. The back buttons as well, like, that. They don't, like, personally for me, they don't get in the way. I know some people might accidentally press them if you hold the controller a bit more tight, but they were just sort of like, they weren't assigned to anything. So I was just clicking them in and out. Just, they feel nice to press in and out. So that'll be handy for, like, you know, Zelda or something when, like, you're trying to run and don't want to take your finger off the sticks because you've got a Guardian right behind you or something. Like, be good for that. And I've been hammering this home the whole Switch generation. Is just like, no audio jack on the controller was a big pain in the ass. And only in the last couple of years I've got, like, a wireless solution. So now I won't use it because I was kind of forced to because of the Switch. but yeah, it's going to be great now because you can just plug in like any old pair of headphones and get your game audio and be good.
I love it.
So yeah, no, it's like just a very good controller. Like it's very expensive. So all of these things you hope it would have really. Yeah, because was it $95 over in the States? I
think so. Yeah, I think it's $94.99 US. Yeah.
Yeah. So it should have some things to be excited about. So.
yeah, but it's one of those things where like I was telling people too, like I understand. I'm with you. I don't necessarily want to fork over $100 either.
No.
But also, it's really, really good, and like it is like, but it is a luxury, and I get it. And the nice thing is that to Nintendo's absolute credit, like it's really cool that all of the controllers are also backwards compatible. Like the fact that, and they've been really good about that. I mean, the Wii U really leaned into the fact that you could use Wii remotes and things like that with it. So Nintendo, I think, is usually pretty good about it. Even before Switch 2 was officially revealed, I remember there was a lot of kind of trepidation thinking that Nintendo wasn't going to be backwards compatible. I'm like, Nintendo's kind of always been backwards compatible for the vast majority of their like post GameCube consoles, And so I was like, I don't think there's any reason to believe that they won't be. And sure enough, they are with both their games, with the software and the hardware. So if I were really like running as lean as possible, it's kind of neat that like you really could get away with just spending the $4.99 here in the States, getting the console and the Mario Kart bundle, all of your same stuff, all of the accessories you already have will still work for it, and you would have the Switch 2 and you would have Mario Kart, the biggest game for it. If you really wanted to get away with it, you could, and all the other stuff is kind of a nice luxury to have. But that Pro Controller 2, like, sure is a nice luxury to have.
Yeah, definitely. Because, like, with Switch 1, like, one of my friends, I found out, like, years into the system's life that he never had a Pro Controller. He was playing with the Joy-Con grip the whole time. So, like, Mario Odyssey, Smash Brothers, all of this stuff, he was playing with that. And I was just like, personally for me, I can't stand the Joy-Con grip. I was like, day one, I tried it. I'm like, this is rubbish, and I chucked that thing away. Because I quite like the Joy-Con just one in each hand, and like lay back.
Me too.
Yeah, lay back on the couch, and arms are apart, and especially now with like when my son was like a little baby, if you have your controller in front of you, he's like reaching out, trying to like touch the buttons.
Yeah.
But like Joy-Cons, I can literally like just put them above my head like that, or
totally
just get them out the way. So that's how I played with the Joy-Con, but getting hands-on with the Joy-Con grip at the event as well, I'm like, this is a perfectly great way to play the game.
I agree.
It feels great.
Yeah.
It feels really good. And this is coming from somebody who hated the first one. But yeah, the second one feels great. I will say though, the ones they had at the event were the ones you got to pay for, not the ones that come with the Switch.
The charging grip.
The charging grip, yeah. So with the back buttons and the ability to charge the Joy-Cons, but I assume it will be the same shape that comes with the actual console. If not, maybe it's just like a circle and it feels awful. It might just be.
Yeah, it just feels terrible. It's neat too because these things are magnetic. Like, it's one thing, and we talked about how satisfying it is to click them into the side of the Switch and stuff, but because they're magnetic, it also means that you don't have to like rail them into a molded Joy-Con grip. Like, it's just like a flat thing that you snap them into that has like little grips on it. So like the ergonomics of it are effectively really similar to the ergonomics of just the Joy-Con themselves. So like it's just that with a little extra grip. So like, yeah, dude, it feels good. Like it feels, and it winds up working out, I think, really well for them. And I was impressed with that too. When we went to play Mario Kart for the first time, they basically put that in the hands of my wife and I, and that was the first time I actually played Switch 2 was that way. And my first thought was like, I could get behind this, because sometimes we'll go to play something and my wife will kind of like, you know, scoff a little bit if we're playing like Mario Party with the disconnected Joy-Con, and she's like, ugh, you know, she's like, can't we just do like no motion games? I'm like, no, we're doing the motion games. And she's like, can't we just do it with the Pro Controller? I'm like, absolutely not. And she kind of like groans a little bit, but now, because of the way that all feels, because of like the bigger buttons, the bigger like SL and SR buttons, like everything just feels better. Like everything with the Switch 2 like feels like the way it should have always been, to be honest. Like just ergonomically, like it feels like it should have just always been this way. And that is the advantage of having like an iterative upgrade like this, where it's like we have had now whatever it's been, like 8 years with this platform. It's like we have had the time to be like, what works, what doesn't work, and let's go through and just check, fix basically everything, you know? So, yeah, I was very impressed with all of that stuff.
Yeah, because we never got the more ergonomic Wiimote, you know, we never got the more ergonomic, I guess we sort of did DS, the 3DS in some ways. It's kind of the same, we just got a circle pad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Some extra buttons. But yeah, no, it's all good. I don't know. I came out of it being like, I don't know. Am I just such a sucker? Because I came out of it being like, I don't really have any issues. I will say, just like, I had 2 issues. One which I don't think is an issue. One just like, there was like a demo. It was actually for Welcome Tour. Just like on the actual, like it was about the screen actually. It's just like it's not as bright as I would like it. But when I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't have any sort of things in the back of my head being like, oh, it's a bit dull. So maybe it was just a demo. I'm just assuming it was the demo or the lighting for that particular spot. But just as far as games go, we haven't talked about Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong made me motion sick. It actually
did it.
Yeah, a few minutes in, I'm feeling like, oof, like I was feeling not good, but I sort of just had to power through it because that was my time with Donkey Kong. I had my 20 or 15 minutes or whatever it was. But yeah, I was feeling pretty bad. I was like, and it wasn't the best situation. Like they had a stool in front of the TV, which was way too close.
Right.
So I was sitting a bit close to the TV, and since I had limited time, I was kind of speed running the level. So I was just like hammering the walls, just going nuts. So it was maybe a little bit too fast. So if I sit back from the TV, I don't go so ham with Donkey Kong's fists. I might fare a bit better, but yeah, I was feeling pretty woozy. It took like another 15 minutes after the demo, because I was thinking, didn't on Nintendo Drive did Ryan say that at his demo he was asked whether he was motion sick? Was that Ryan when he was talking to you?
I don't think so. We both agreed that Donkey Kong Bonanza is also just one of those games that doesn't demo that well. Like you really do, to your point, want to be able to just like take your time with it, to be able to like chill on the couch and not, because I'm with you. Like I felt, because we had 20 minutes or whatever it was, like I did feel like I needed to just like punch my way through and just like go as fast as I can. I'm like, and it occurred to me about like 5 minutes in, I'm like, this is like the worst way to experience this game. It's like in this dark room, big bright TV. We had to stand pretty close to it too. And like, you know, and it's just such a like bombastic game. Like you want to be able to take it at your own pace. And, you know, it really is not the right way to play the game. So I felt weird like trying to formulate an opinion on it just based on my time with it at the event, you know?
Yeah.
Like I had fun, but also this is like the worst possible experience. Just loud too everywhere, you know? So yeah, I get it. Like it didn't make me motion sickness, but I could totally see that. Yeah.
It is a funny sort of, I guess somewhat new experience for us, because like, you know, you get review codes for indie games and you can sit down at home, you can play them. You come into the podcast or your videos and you have a formulated opinion. So you're used to reviewing, but previewing is a completely different situation.
Totally.
Where it's like, how do I bring a unique take and inform people about, you know, whether they should be excited about this game when like you had 20 minutes and like, you know, at the end of the day, you sort of sat down and smashed through some rocks. You got to the surface level and you explored a little bit. You found some maps and that. Like, how do you break that down into like an interesting preview? Yeah. I think honestly, it's kind of just the downsides of previewing. Even IGN, like, you know, back in the day, they're at E3 and you read a preview for a big game. It's kind of like,
right.
They kind of just say, yeah, no, it's interesting. We'll see what it's like at the full release. It's kind of,
and now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, yeah, that is kind of all you can say. But then, like, likewise, I thought that Dragon Drive previewed really well, and I almost think that that's the ideal scenario to play a game like that. And then, like,
True.
I'm almost to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I can get the same experience at home. Like, I don't know if this is gonna feel as good if I were to, like, to get it home.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, like it's literally the opposite of how I felt about Donkey Kong. I feel about Dragon Drive, because at Dragon Drive, I had, like, a group of people who were all playing locally. People were cheering, and we had, like, these great hype moments. And I'm like, maybe that's as good as it gets, you know, in terms of the experience for this. But Donkey Kong, the whole time, I was like, I just can't wait to get this home and play it the way I want to play it, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, you're right, because for that situation to happen again, you would have to have like 5 other people, maybe go to a library and you've all got a table
Right.
or something.
Yeah.
And when you play it that way, no, you're right. That's something that I don't think we don't utilize with like Switch as much as we should, because like the whole thing about LAN gaming, we should do that more often. Like, I don't know, like back in the day, people are bringing their Xboxes over, like hooking everything up. But these days, we can just bring a Switch and just put it into tabletop mode and just like, let's play Mario Kart, and you're all just wirelessly doing it. It's just like simple. So yeah, I would love that experience with Dragon Drive. It's not going to happen, but
I know.
I can dream.
Yeah. It's a fun game though. Like
I'll play with you. I'll join your team.
Yeah, like we'd have fun with it if it just had more like personality. Like I wish I could actually be a bigger cheerleader for that game, because like I really did. Like, I kind of had a blast with it. Like, my wife and I both were like, dude, that was fun. And we had a really, like, hype moment, because we were playing. It was my wife and I and some other guy on a team. And then, you know, the other team of 3 is 3v3 game. And we're tied up, and we're, like, you know, we're wheelchairing around and stuff, and we're bumping into each other. And it was the last 10 seconds of the game. I get the ball. I pass it to the other guy who's like kind of closer to the hoop because everybody's coming after me, and the guy makes a 3-point shot and the game knows it. It was a buzzer beater. It was like, you know, the clock had hit 0, but it was letting the ball continue, and it was like slow motion zoom in, and it made it, and we got the 3 points and we won the game, and everybody freaked out. Everybody's cheering, and I was like, dude, like, that is about as good as it gets. Like, in terms of a Dragon Drive experience, that's about it. And I'm like, if this had like the personality and like the visual flair and the characters of like ARMS, like, I'd be sitting here beating the drum for it and like telling, but we don't know anything about it. Like, there's nothing to latch on to. We don't know a release date. We don't know a price for it. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm like, I asked the Nintendo rep after we played it, like, do we have any indication of what the price or like the release date of this is? And of course he didn't say anything, and he was like, look, check out Nintendo.com this summer. I'm like, okay.
I'll be refreshing it every day, so.
Oh yeah, I'll be sitting there refreshing Nintendo.com, waiting for the latest Dragon Drive news. But I did. I was like, you know, like I was like, this is, as it stands, knowing what I know about it, if this is all it is, it's fun, but like I would not pay full price for that, you know, as fun as it is. You know, it's a tough thing, and my wife and I both had a great time with it, but like, is it just this? You know, it's like, it's fun, but kind of need a little bit more meat on the bone, you know? Yeah. So hopefully it has it.
I was talking with Josh about it as well. It's one of those things too where it's like, if it does have more meat on the bone, is it just content for content's sake? Like, at what limit? Like, if they want to charge, you know, I don't know, $60 American for this game, like, all right, we've got to add modes to it. At some point, it's just adding content just because they need to justify the price. I think they'll be much better putting it at a very low price or free to play.
I agree.
Or trying to do something else with it, because it is just the core gameplay of playing the matches. And it's kind of hard. It's in a weird limbo where like it's dead on arrival if they don't thread the needle very carefully, because like are they competing with Fortnite and a bunch of free to play games on Switch too, let alone off platform. And it is a weird concept that a lot of people aren't really on board with motion controls. You're not, I love going back to the Wii and just like experiencing like those games. So yeah, a lot of people aren't really like that. They're kind of like, well, I don't want to get my thumbs off these sticks. They're just so engaging. I can't do it.
So that comes back to the sticks, man. It's all about the sticks. Yeah, no, I get it. Like it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, like this is also in a way exactly what I want Nintendo to be doing more of, is like these weird control methods, these interesting ideas. It just like, and I actually would be okay if this essentially was Nintendo's answer to like a Rocket League or something like that. Like I'd be good with that actually. Like I'd be totally fine with it. It just like, I feel like I can't sell it to people. Like I feel like I can't, bust this thing out and be like, are you excited to play Drag and Drive? You know what I mean? Like trust me, bro, it's fun.
This drab looking basketball game, are you excited for it?
Like it's just tough. You're just like in this kind of like stark warehouse, like airplane hangar on a basketball court. It's like, dude, it's like there's just nothing to latch onto here. And the like some of their helmets I think have like cat ears, and that's about as much personality as you get from it. And it sucks because it's a really interesting idea and it's unique, and it's cool to see people like latch onto it from an accessibility standpoint to bring awareness to people with disabilities. And like there is real wheelchair basketball, and I didn't even know that before Drag and Drive
really?
happened and people were talking about it.
Yeah, cool.
So like, it actually is really neat, and it's a shame. Like it's almost a shame that they're not like positioning it in a better place, because I feel like nobody's talking about it. Like I feel like literally nobody's talking about it, and I feel like I do feel like it's a little dead on arrival. And I would love nothing more than, as we get a little bit deeper into the summer, closer to whenever the release date for this is, if they just said, hey man, like what we've shown is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got like this in here, that in here. I just want to see more. I want to see different like courts.
We've got colors.
Yeah. Please be excited. We have color in this game. Oh, that would be nice. But something tells me that is not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, if that is what they got, it's hard to sell it, because like you're kind of just selling it to guys like us, where it's like, oh, I kind of want like a motion controlled experience with the mice. It's kind of, but how many people are like aching for that, especially at a price point? I feel like this is exactly where Nintendo's new price point hurts them, because like Mario Kart, that's a known quantity. That looks awesome. Drag and Drive, I don't know what the hell that is. Not even thinking about putting down money for it. So that's where that pricing comes into question. Maybe feels like, how much did Endless Ocean cost over in the States? Was it like a $40 game?
It was $50. They did. It was funny. I pointed to this a lot actually when people were talking about when people were mad that Mario Kart was they were doing the variable pricing for Mario Kart. I was like, well, to Nintendo's credit, they did do that in the opposite direction too, because we had last year Endless Ocean, Another Code, Mario vs. DK, Emio, all of them were $10 less than your average release. Here in the States, they were all $49.99. So my feeling coming into Switch 2 was, okay, standard is going to be $69.99, and then like your budget game is going to kind of still be in that ballpark. And maybe they will continue to do that. I don't know. Things are obviously a lot more uncertain now, but yeah, they to answer the question, here in the States, Endless Ocean was $49.99, and I feel like that is the height of what they could possibly charge for something like Drag and Drive.
Yeah, because even those cheaper games, they're still expensive games. Like
right,
like Endless Ocean, I quite enjoyed it, but you'd only sort of play it for so long, like
right,
get your enjoyment for so long. For $50, it's like, well, like for a lot of people, it's just like, well, I'm just going to play Fortnite because it's free.
Totally, yeah.
It's tricky. It's like a very, very competitive place online multiplayer games. I think the ideal situation is just like it's very bare bones. It is just 3-on-3 basketball, but it's a part of your subscription, and then anybody.
That'd be great.
I think that's the best option. I think it would be awesome just to have like, you know, obviously the classic games, they're all great. You can play them. But as far as multiplayer experiences, like even if you don't have Mario Kart, you don't have this or whatever, but there are like 3 experiences you can play online, and that's basically like an online demo in some ways. And one of them is Drag and Drive, where it is like, hey, look, take off your Joy-Cons, wheelchair basketball, play it with your friends 3-on-3. That's kind of the best case scenario as far as us as the consumers, but you know, it's probably going to have a couple more modes, and it's going to be 50 or $60.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, they're charging $10 for Welcome Tour, so I have very little confidence, and that's another one where it's like that should just be bundled in, and you know, I'm with it. That would be great. I would love to see them do that, but it's also the kind of thing where it's like I look at it even something like a Kirby's Dream Buffet, which I think they just put in their little multiplayer only game. I kind of loved it. Like, I actually put a lot of time into that stupid little game.
It's actually one of the first-party games I didn't get. Like, I've only got, like, a handful of first-party games I haven't played on Switch, but that was one of them, because I kind of, like, I looked at it, I'm like, I don't want to play online.
I had a lot of fun with it. I was surprised at how much fun I think I put, like, 30 hours into it.
Jesus,
like, I had
dude.
a good...
I know you're a Kirby man, but crossed.
It was just, there was something about it. Like, I found myself like wanting to turn it on and just like and I had some good moments playing that game. And I don't know, like I could see it fitting into that. I want to say Kirby Dream Buffet was like 10 or $15 here. And like that would be okay even for some, and Kirby Dream Buffet was a very limited game, but it had a ton of personality to it. The online was the thing that really killed that. It really was laggy and it was not very good, but the gameplay itself was like rock solid, and it just was exactly what it was. And I think there's some space for that. Like, I think that there's some space for a game to come out and it just, hey man, like this is what it is. And it, you know, whatever, it's a $10, $15 thing. And there might be a little like community fostered around it, and if that's what Drag and Drive was, I would be fine with that. But I get the feeling that they're gonna try to, you know, hype it up, tack some modes onto it, and charge full price for it. And I think that would be a mistake. I would be happy to be wrong though, because I do think it's fun and I want it to do well.
Yeah, it's just an interesting sort of thing to kick around. Just be like, just from an industry perspective, like how do you make this product viable? Like they've got a good idea here. It is fun, but how do you make? Do you do a full price game, part of the subscription, free to play, or very cheap? Because even like at a $10 price point, it's still hard to convince people, like people's friend groups, to go and buy it. That's where it's tricky as well. Because like if you want a fun night with some friends, you're gonna go and like convince them to spend $10, or you're gonna convince them to download Fortnite. I don't know. I always come back to Fortnite because like I don't play much multiplayer stuff. I'm a single player gamer. When the kids are in bed, my headphones go on and I like do a story or whatever have you. But whenever I talk to anybody else, it's like, oh, so you're into games? It's always like Apex Legends, Fortnite, Call of Duty. Like it's always that, and like it's just a way to just blow off some steam before going to bed for a lot of people. But you know, it's different for me. But yeah, it's interesting how it's just how people, I guess don't want to spend money. It's just like the whole this next generation just wants to just get stuff for free on their tablets, which is I don't know.
Right.
I feel disconnected from it. It's a bit strange, but yeah, that's what Nintendo's got to sort of go up against. Just like, all right, make this wheelchair game appeal to them.
Well, yeah, and it's an interesting place for them to be in. I almost wish that like it'd be kind of fun, it'd be kind of interesting if you could like customize your NSO subscription a little bit. Like if I could pick and choose like what came with it, and like they tacked on whatever like to the subscription, it'd be kind of neat if you could do something like that.
I was expecting like another tier, to be honest with you. Like we got the expansion pack,
me too.
so you can choose between that. But yeah, when it comes to there will be another tier eventually. They will want more money. Like
Right.
that's evident from everybody else.
It's too good a deal already. Yeah, I was on it. Frankly, I was surprised that GameCube was tacked into the regular expansion pack. I was like, dude, and with no price increase yet, that's crazy. Like that to me seems like an insane deal for sure. Who knows? By the end of the year, I wouldn't be shocked at all if the prices on that go up. But I was pretty surprised that they did not announce a price increase at the same time as they announced GameCube, because that's a very valuable system. And I was kind of banging the drum for a long time that they would just rather, port up those games Thousand Year Door style and charge you full price for it. But no,
definitely
here it is.
Yeah, because that's like that's a major pillar of their business, just taking old software, spicing it up a little bit, and chucking it back on the plate and charging full price. So yeah, no, I was definitely there with you, because like as much as I wanted it, it's kind of like, I don't know, where's the incentive? But in reality, they can do both. Like I'll pay my subscription for GameCube games. I'll get my controller, and I'll also take the HD remaster of Wind Waker on Switch 2, please. Like I'll take take it all.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, did you get your GameCube controller?
I have been off to the side here, Drew. I don't know if you've noticed me looking off to my second monitor every so often. It should be going up for sale today in the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I've literally been just waiting to see like when it's going to go up, and I'm going to fight everybody else online. My computer's going to catch fire, and I'm going to be trying to fight tooth and nail for this thing, because I want it so badly. I have a GameCube controller plugged in right here. I still use this thing with some it is my main way to play Super Monkey Ball, which I still play all the time. So the idea of having like an official like wireless Nintendo GameCube controller that will just work with my Switch 2, I'm like, yes, please, thank you. So yeah, I am like I'm sitting here with my wallet open today, hoping to secure one. So
keep that refresh going there, because did you get to use one at the experience?
No, I don't know how they had it set up for you. Did you guys have like the stamp system where you could play like 6 games?
That was something I was very interested because hearing you guys talk about the stamps, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be restricted. I just want to go and play everything. But no, we didn't have any stamps. Yeah, no, we're good just to flow around. So
yeah. So I ran out of stamps, unfortunately. The big thing that killed my stamps was my wife wanted to play the Mario Party, and they had the setup for Mario Party for the mouse mini games and the camera mini games.
That's rough.
And they both counted as a stamp.
Oh, that's stamp
my
robbery.
Wife, I know. I'm sitting there now. I will say, to their credit, when we played Welcome Tour, the lady was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna stamp you for that. You're good." Like, she let us go, and she didn't stamp us for it. So we got to play Welcome Tour for free, but I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but
Stephanie on the Welcome Tour thing, you are fired.
She let us slide without a stamp on the Welcome Tour, but yeah, so I ended up running out of stamps, unfortunately, because I wanted to prioritize, like, I wanted to play Metroid, and I wanted to play Dragon Drive and stuff.
For sure.
But still, I looked at it, because actually, funny enough, it was right next to the Welcome Tour. So while my wife was playing Welcome Tour, I'm just sitting there drooling, looking at people playing Soul Calibur and Wind Waker and stuff, and seeing the GameCube controller. I'm like, I am very excited to get my hands on one of those, man.
Yeah. I actually took my actual GameCube controller to compare it. Like, I had them right next to each other. And the only difference is just like there's a bit of a different finish on the Switch 2's GameCube controller.
Sure.
So like a little bit more of a rough texture rather than like the real smooth texture. But yeah, apart from that, it all feels the same. Like the triggers, it's got that same feeling, that same click in. And one question I really wanted answered as well was like, does it have like an L3, R3? Like, do the sticks click in? Because like people, want to play other games with that controller, and the answer is no, it does not. Which makes sense, because if it's just they're designing it just for GameCube games, but I was wondering, like, people might want to use it for some other games, but it seems like you might just be able to use it for them and Smash Brothers and stuff that doesn't use those sticks. So no Call of Duty with a C stick, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would have been sick. But it also, I mean, as long as that thing has like a home button, which I think it does.
It does.
I think
it's got all that stuff up the top, like the 64 controller. Yep.
And that is good for me, man, because like that, playing with the normal GameCube controller right now, that's what sucks. I have to have my Pro controller like ready to go so I can hit the home button with the Pro controller.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it otherwise, and also it's tough because like I just, as long as that kind of basic functionality is in there, then I'm gonna be comfortable to use that for a lot of stuff. When Smash on that thing, when Smash comes out on Switch 2 with the GameCube controller, yeah.
Oh man, I've been wanting that controller forever, like an official one from Nintendo. Like you said, it's gonna be good. I can't wait. Just like, it's going to be really exciting now too. Like the NSO drops, like a GameCube game's like coming out later that day. It's like, oh Christ, like, that's going to be the evening set, because especially like with NES games and like even like a lot of the SNES games, it's kind of like the games, you know, it's like, oh well, cool, like it's nice they're there, but now we're getting to the point where it's like big, long, meaty 3D games coming out, which is cool. And like I missed a lot of GameCube games as well, so it'll kind of make like a bit of a book club situation where it's like, oh, everyone's playing, you know, Wind Waker, or especially like the multiplayer stuff with Mario Strikers, like that. The GameCube Mario Strikers is so much fun. It's just so fast and arcadey. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Hopefully the online holds up well for the GameCube games. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's all going to be good. Can't wait to get my controller. I got mine. It was pretty like the website servers were just crashing and it was awful, but
I'm ready for that.
They went down. They went down for maintenance and they come back and they were fine. And even to this day, I can still pre-order one. So like,
that's good.
So every like I fought for everything. I was there like the minute of. I stayed up to 3 o'clock for the Switch 2 to pre-order it and all of this stuff, and I didn't have to do any of it. I don't know.
Well, it was funny too because like I pre-ordering my Switch 2, I waited for like 4 hours outside in the Texas heat and got sunburnt and everything. And like I know other people who are like, yeah, like I walked in there at, you know, like 2 p.m. and pre-ordered one with no issue. You know what I mean? So it's like I probably didn't need to go as crazy for this as I did. But also, when the N64 controller went up online, I got one of those. Yeah. And I remember thinking it was surprisingly easy. Like I remember thinking like, oh, like, okay, I thought that was going to be more annoying than it was. Because like conversely, I remember getting my free like Mario 35th anniversary pins or whatever, and that was a nightmare. I'm just sitting there refreshing for 2 hours, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes today, man. But I'm gonna try my best to get one because I need it. And if I don't get one today, I'm for sure getting one some other day. Yeah,
I felt the same as you. I really wanted it for launch, so I was like pretty determined to get it because, like you said, with the Nintendo 64 one, I didn't get that for a long time because I missed out the day one. Like it sold out real quick, and then it got restocked and it went straight away again. So I didn't get it for a long time. I just sort of got it just randomly when they were more frequently in stock, and I just randomly got it and I played a little bit with it, and that was kind of it. Because even that, like a Nintendo 64 controller, that's just like with a really good like analog stick in that, it's kind of crazy. But I've got one of them and I haven't played that much with it.
Yeah, I found myself using it. Like I replayed last year. I replayed Paper Mario 64, and it felt great. Like to replay definitely. That game with it. Like it was awesome. I was like, oh man. And I'll even go and like fire up every now and then. I'll fire up Super Mario 64 or Banjo Kazooie or something and play it with the N64 controller. I'm like, yeah, man. This was worth whatever pain I went through to get this. This was worth it.
I'm actually really looking forward to playing more of those games on Switch too. Obviously, I know I can on Switch now, but just like I've got all the controllers. I recently ordered the Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive controllers, so I've basically got them all now. So I'm somebody who like is really fussy when it comes to controllers. Like I want it to feel like the authentic experience.
Right.
So like the idea of having all these controllers lined up and just going into each app and jumping between all these games is really cool. We're at a really good spot with Nintendo Switch Online now. So, like with Nintendo 64, like you can rewind now on Switch 2, CRT filters, and like all of that good stuff. So, yeah, I don't even know where to start when it comes to launch day. Like obviously Mario Kart's the priority, but then there's like the GameCube games and third-party stuff. There's like a lot of stuff outside of just Nintendo. So, yeah, no, it's all very exciting. So I hope you get it. Are you refreshing now?
Me too.
What time does it go up?
I don't know. I assume it will probably be sometime this afternoon. If I had to guess, I don't think they've said. And even on there, it literally just says like starting 5/13/25, open to paid NSO membership holders. That's it. So we'll see. I'm just waiting, and I also want to get a second dock, but it looks like that's not going to be available until launch day.
Oh.
But I do want to get a second dock as well, because what I really don't want to do is I don't want to be swapping my dock between my living room TV and my desk here for, you know, footage capture and streaming and stuff like that. Like I want to be able to just, because like right now we have, you know, a dock in like every room of this place. So anywhere I want, I can just slap my Switch down on any screen and it's just there. So, but the dock here is $120 US. So
yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a little pricey, but I need at least one more. So
yeah, I pre-ordered a second dock when I got my GameCube controller.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. Like I've got like the gaming TV I play on, and then I've got the main TV, which is only 1080p. Like it's a older TV, but I want to be able to, you know, play Mario Kart with my kids and all of that. I've got like the wheels pre-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
like my son's only 3, but you know he'll find some fun with it, and obviously he'll grow and be able to utilize it a little bit better. But I'm even considering like a third one. Like I've paid everything off, so I'm like maybe a third one, so like right on my desk, and I can like have that one set up for capture. I've got the family area, but I've got dad's area. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It's 170 here, so you know.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, Australian dollars, which is like $1 over in the States, I guess.
Yeah, that's
it works
true.
out about the same, I think. Yeah.
It's tough. Well, I'm realizing here too, because I'm on their website and they have all their like related products here. Apparently, the Switch 2 Pro controller is actually $84.99, at least on their website.
Oh.
So it's actually a little cheaper than maybe I thought.
Was it the Joy-Cons
so
at $95?
That's what it is. Yep. The Joy-Cons are $95. I knew something was. Yeah, the 2 Joy-Con pack is $94.99. So
there you go, Seth, a bargain.
Hey, there you
Look
go.
at that.
Yeah, look at me. I'm saving money. Yay.
You save $10 what you thought you'll get it.
Yeah.
No. Well, we're obviously very excited about this, Seth. It's really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But
I am too, man. Can't wait.
I guess just one question just before we head on off is just where do we think the Switch 2 is going to end up? Like the industry is rapidly changing, even over the last 5 years since PS5 and the Series X have come out in the console space. We've seen like Xbox completely like dive bomb their business trying to like just make money on the games. Game Pass looks like it's not working out, subscriptions, and they're moving towards a streaming future and a future like on all platforms. PlayStation's holding on. They're doing very well, similar to Nintendo, and Nintendo's going forward with what they've always done with their consoles. But we're also getting like, you know, PCs becoming more accessible with handheld devices and Steam Deck and all of this. Like, it's rapidly changing, and it's interesting just to monitor. But from a Nintendo perspective, where do you think like the Switch 2 will end up? Do you think we'll be very much in the same place, or do you think things will change? Because like, I think the biggest competition to Switch 2 is cloud streaming, just being able to stream. So it's the accessibility of it, and having like really beautiful games on hardware that, you know, doesn't need to actually run them, so you can get it for cheaper. You can get them to perform better and play them on anything you want. So I see that being the biggest competition. But yeah, what do you think as far as where Switch will end up when it's all over?
It's interesting because yeah, I agree. I think that is a factor. They also have way more competition coming into Switch 2 because I mean, this is always the case with Nintendo. Like, Nintendo is a trend-setting company and they create their own trends. But the disadvantage of doing that is you're also creating things for your competitors to take with and iterate on and improve and whatever. We saw this with the Wii was a huge success, and so hey man, look, next thing you know, Xbox is doing Kinect and Sony's doing PlayStation Move, and now the Switch is a huge success. So now you've got your Steam Decks and your ROG Allies and all this stuff. There's a lot more competition out there for Switch 2, and as you say, like, PCs getting more and more accessible, and because people like Sony and Microsoft are starting to put their games on PC, if not day and date like Xbox does. Sony games usually wind up coming to PC eventually. So I am seeing a lot of people kind of adopting that mindset of like, well, like, why don't I just like put my money in a big PC and do that? Like, I am seeing more people kind of gravitate towards that. I think for Nintendo, I think that and I know a lot of people like maybe don't give this the credit it deserves. First of all, I think the branding means something. I think that the Nintendo brand does mean something. I think that people, like us, like, Nintendo has been in my life my entire life. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of, as a diehard Nintendo fan, somebody that's just kind of on board with whatever it is they're going to do, because I always have been. They've never lost me. I've not always agreed with stuff that they've done, but they've never lost me. And even for somebody like my mom, like, she knows what Nintendo is, like, it's like Disney, like, it's like that very synonymous kind of brand. I think that does mean something. My mom doesn't know what Steam is, but she knows what Nintendo is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like
For
that,
sure.
That's not nothing. Like, I know that people probably undersell that. That's not nothing. They have the history. And they have it with their games too. Like, they have it with Mario and Zelda and stuff. And because Nintendo is unflinching in that their games will not come to other platforms, and they're not going to do the Microsoft strategy. And even when they had all the reason in the world to do it, they didn't do it. So I can't imagine they're going to start now. And like, on top of that, they set standards with the pricing of their games, for better or for worse. If you think they're too expensive, that's fine, but they're not going the Ubisoft route where it's like, hey, I'm not going to buy this at launch because in 3 months it's going to be cheap. Like, no, they know what they have, and they have established a certain like standard with it. So I think that puts them in a really good position in many, many ways. And I think it does differentiate them from their competition more than people maybe give them credit for. And so I think that they're probably quite happy to just have like this new really good thing out that is also going to have new really good games on it. I think that's probably good enough for them for a long time to differentiate themselves in the marketplace. I don't think it's going to be as successful as Switch 1. I don't think that, because when Switch 1 came out, it didn't have the competition that Switch 2 has. It doesn't have all of these, financial uphill battles that Switch 2 has. But I think it's going to be around for a long time. I think that it's going to be cool to see like third party. I can't wait to play like Elden Ring on this thing. I can't wait to see what like other third parties can do. Like, I really hope they do Baldur's Gate 3 on this with mouse control, like stuff like that. I think is really going to give it like that kind of competitive edge. Even like you mentioned Call of Duty earlier, assuming that Call of Duty is coming to Switch 2, getting to play that with mouse control is going to be kind of sick, So like, I think that they have just enough with Switch 2 to give them that little bit of a competitive edge, because if I'm looking at a handheld experience for something like a Call of Duty, I'm not going to reach for a Steam Deck to play it on. Like, I'm going to reach for a Switch 2. And I think that as long as they find more ways to do stuff like that and to make that like that point of difference while also giving you the same really good Nintendo games they always have, then I think they'll be solid, man, for a long time. So
yeah, no, very well said. I agree with like a lot of what you said, and it's hard to, like, I think sometimes a lot of people lose sight, maybe in the hardcore gamer space, especially like, the Steam Deck is awesome. And I do know like a few people who have recently got Steam Decks because like late last year, Steam Decks became available in Australia for the first time. So a lot of people made the jump. Like one of my friends, he just got one, and like Fulia, for example, she just got one
Right.
as well. So, people like that, they're kind of like, well, I can play Cyberpunk portably. I can take Elden Ring. Like it kind of took the sort of juice out of the Switch 2 a little bit, because it's like these big games, like the next generation of portable gaming, it was kind of done a few years ago. So it's kind of taken the sting out of it a little bit, and I think there are more options now for people to play those types of games. And there's the advantages of Steam as well, where it is like if I want to play, it's like I buy Cyberpunk on Steam as opposed to the eShop. I can play it on an amazing PC. I can stream it through like RTX streaming or whatever, or I can just play it on the Steam Deck, just put the settings down and play it portably. Like you've got a lot more options, and I think the core gamer might sort of prefer those different options, whereas like the more casual gamer might go more towards Switch. But I'm kind of in the mindset, I've got access to all of these things. I love gaming hardware, tinkering around with stuff, and I'm still drawn to just that slim profile of the Switch. Like if I'm playing an indie game that runs fine on Switch, like 8 years after, I would prefer to play it on Switch, just because it is like smaller and slimmer, and I actually like the screen better on the Switch OLED too, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
because I got the Steam Deck that has like the matte screen. I think I fucked up, Seth. I think that was a like, it still looks good, but yeah, it doesn't have that nice pop that like the nice glossy screens have. It also, like the Steam Deck, for example, everyone talks about how successful it is, but it's all like 3 million. Like if Nintendo did that, they'd be pretty disappointed. So it's like it's a completely different product, like aiming for different people. But yeah, I will. It will be interesting us as like Nintendo content creators, just seeing where this thing goes. I think it's going to be very successful, but just like the competition is going to ramp up. Like they didn't really have competition in their field before. Like if you want to play handheld games, it was Switch for a long time until there's a PC option, and PC is for a lot of people just a no. But yeah, with a PlayStation, an Xbox handheld around the corner, by the looks of it, we're going to be seeing if Nintendo can hold its own, which I dare say they can. But we have seen with the Wii U, Nintendo franchises by themselves were not enough. If like there's more compelling ideas out there for hardware, so we shall see. It'll be something we'll be covering very intently, I dare say. And
it's an exciting time, man. It's an new Nintendo hardware is all. Even me, like I'm sitting here, I was stoked for the Wii U to come out. You know what I mean? Like I was
excited. I wouldn't say stoked. I was excited.
Yeah. I was day one on the Wii U, man. Like
I was too.
Like I'll be there for whatever they've got, and it is cool now because like now we're both like ingratiated in it, and we're playing these games and we're covering them, we're talking about them, we're podcasting about them and stuff, and like that's the stuff that I'm excited to play the stuff, get it home, but I'm also excited to like talk about it with my friends, and to talk about it with like other content creators like yourself, and just to like hang out and like live in this in this space, and to continue doing this thing. It also kind of feels like another, I don't know, like another bite at the apple or something, because when the Switch 1 came out, I was not doing like Nintendo specific content, and now with this, like it's kind of cool to get to be there at launch for a brand new like Nintendo generation as a Nintendo specific content creator. It's very exciting. It's cool, and it's nice to get to like we're in this kind of anticipatory state, but here we are, just in a few weeks, we're not going to be anticipating anything anymore, dude. We're going to have it. Like it's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm just lapping up every little bit of hype, because it doesn't come around that often, and we're in our 30s, so it's just like Any bit of childhood excitement or wonderment or whatever, just embrace it. You know, there's
I agree,
especially during these times where a lot of shit's going on. It's kind of just like, just embrace it. You know,
just have fun, man.
It sounds corny, but Nintendo describes themselves as a company that, you know, makes smiles. It sounds dumb as hell, but, you know, I guess they do. It's true.
But like, it is kind of, I don't know how it was at your event, but like, I gotta give him credit. Like, not only were the Nintendo reps at our event, they were all really friendly and like really like just smiling, and they did like this whole thing. I don't know if they did it for y'all. When we walked in, people were clapping and cheering like when the people walked in, and I saw people of all ages. I saw like we played Mario Party with like a mother and her young son. I saw a dude who had to be in his 60s playing Donkey Kong. You know what I mean? Like, it really, like, that to me, like, Nintendo does mean a lot of things to a lot of different people, and it does stand the test of time. And like, I know this probably comes off to somebody listening as like gross, like brand association or whatever, but it means something, man. Like, there's a reason that these things do stand the test of time, and they do, like, Nintendo means something, you know, and it does. We don't have that with Xbox and PlayStation or Steam or PC or anything like that. Like, there is a deep kind of like, you know, like personal association to Nintendo and their games, and it was cool to see that like on a larger scale, to be in a room with people where there was no cynicism, there was no, oh my God, I can't believe how expensive these things are, and there was no talk of terror. It was just people playing these games and having fun. And it did my heart a lot of good, like genuinely, to go to that event and see that. It was like, oh, right, like joy does still exist in the world. You know what I mean?
I certainly do. Like, I come home just feeling like super refreshed. Like, that was so much fun and so exciting. Like, you know, like we're adults, you know, we, you know, go to, you know, do work and just whatever, and it becomes a little bit mundane. So like a nice little like refresher like that, where it is purely just like, this is so much fun. It was just very, very, very needed. I think, like, you know, like for me, I'm just like every day it's just like, you know, kids get up, you know, get through the day, you know, all of this, getting to school. Like it was just all, it's just a lot of like stuff like that. But yeah, just at the event, I was just like having so much fun. I was just a kid in the candy store, just jumping around on these games, and it was just just really fun. And like you said about the kids at your event, like when I was waiting for my first chance to play Knockout Tour, there was people already playing, and one of them was like a little boy. He was in a wheelchair. He was from like Make-A-Wish, like they were there.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, isn't that? I'm like, brought like a bit of a tear to my eye. I'm like, that is so sweet.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, I guess like one of the people reached out to Nintendo saying, hey, look, you know, explain the situation, and they got invited too. So I'm like, that is absolutely beautiful. That like, yeah, they get to experience that and get to just have fun with the games, man. Like it's video games get such a bad rap, but I don't know. There's something so powerful about them, which is just brings people together. Like whether it's like a great story or it's just like a really fun multiplayer session, it's just there's nothing better than this medium, dude. And it's just such a reminder why we bother to sit down and talk about them each week. Dude. Or like 5 times a week like you do.
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth, because like it's so easy. I won't harp on this too long, but like it's so easy to get like, cynical, bogged down in it. But like there is something just primal. If we remove all of that stuff, like we all started doing this because we just love these games. And because we just love playing games, we love talking about them, and we love being excited about them. And it's such a good reminder of like why you started doing this in the first place, and like why this stuff still has, all these years later, like it still has like that power over you. This is still like my ultimate art form, the ultimate, like my ultimate hobby, the thing that I love to do, the thing that I have in a lot of ways dedicated my life to. And it's like, yeah, man, it can still drudge that out of you. I bring up this moment all the time. You ever seen the movie Hook? You ever seen that movie with Robin Williams?
It's years ago, yes.
There's a moment in Hook. The story. This is such a dumb moment, but it's like it's one of my favorite movie scenes where, like, he was Peter Pan and he goes back and he's like an old like adult and he's angry now, but he doesn't remember that at one time he was Peter Pan, and like all these kids, all the Lost Boys come around. There's this little boy that like makes his face into like a smile, and he's like, "Oh, there you are, Peter." And it makes me like cry every time because it makes me think of like, man, like as like the years go on and you get like old and cynical, like every now and then you go to something like this and it's like, "Oh, there you are, Peter." Like you're still that kid that like loved Super Mario Brothers 3 and just loved video games. He's still in there, man. And like something like this and like the hype and the excitement for Switch 2 and playing Knockout Tour and, you know, just enjoying this and seeing the families at the event and being excited with my friends like you, and like, yeah, that's my like, there you are, Peter moment. You know what I mean? Like it's still in there, you know, that's my Hook moment.
Yeah, no, it's a great just reminder. It's a special time, and all these feelings are going to go away, Seth. We're going to get the Switch 2, and it's just going to be the same old.
We'll find something to be pissed
yeah,
about.
that's right. We'll just wait a minute. This kickstand's dog shit.
This sucks.
This sucks.
Forget everything I just said.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Seth, this conversation has just really lightened me up. I've absolutely loved just geeking out with
Agreed.
2.5 hours about Switch 2. It's been a lot of fun.
Holy crap, has it been that long? Oh my god.
You're like,
look at us go.
Oh my god, I've missed a GameCube controller.
No, don't you worry about that, dude. I've got it up here. I've been refreshing it.
Well, I hope you get your GameCube controller, and I don't know, best of luck with Switch 2 endeavors. Hope you get it. Well, not hope you get it. I hope that the pre-order works out. I know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, GameStop seems pretty good. I'm just hearing about people's Walmart pre-orders and stuff getting cancelled.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, there will be hell to pay if my GameStop doesn't get that Switch 2.
Me too.
Everybody will hear about it.
Mine's at EB Games, so I guess a similar situation. So, man.
Oh yeah,
buddy, look out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, dude. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It was it was a lot of fun to sit here and talk about this stuff anytime, and I'm excited too. Like once we get this whole Switch 2, we ring in the Switch 2 era. We get to do like a lot more fun stuff together. So, yeah,
for sure. We'll be game chatting each other with the camera. You can
we'll have our cameras on.
Nice. We can do a podcast with our Switch 2 cameras. It'll be crazy.
That'd be kind of sick. We should do that, actually. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I reckon I will. I'll plug it in and just... you might be able to see too much of my room, though. You can see like all the
run a blender in the background. Put that mic to the test on the Switch 2. Put a blender in the background. See how that goes.
Yeah, that's a good idea, too. Yeah, you'll be able to just actually record a podcast on that microphone as well.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Seth. Let's shout out some of your stuff. You've got a bunch of podcasts around everywhere. How can people support you? All of that, because you do content creation full time. So let people know where they can support you.
Yeah, I do. The best way is probably just to look me up on Blue Sky, $2 Hero. That's got links to all of my stuff with All In Media, which is a company I co-founded. Companies overselling it. It's really just like a little independent media network where we do a bunch of different podcasts and videos on YouTube. You can find that. That website's allin.media. And then Carpool Gaming. I'm part of the team over there. I'm on the Nintendo Drive podcast. I'm also part of the production crew, so I oversee a lot of like our events. We just did like a big Carpool Gaming event called CPG Days, so I handled a lot of that and planned a lot of that. And our efforts at Extra Life, I'm behind a lot of that. So anyway, we do a lot of stuff there. Carpoolgaming.com. You can find all that stuff there too. So yeah, those, I would say, allin.media, carpoolgaming.com, and then just look me up on Blue Sky. You'll find all my stuff there.
Yep. And all that stuff will be linked, so please go and check it out. I enjoy all of Seth's content, even his Patreon exclusive stuff. So, yeah, even that one. Oh, it gets saucy in Seth's Patreon. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you saying that. We try, and that's the thing too is they're like it's a pretty small operation, especially on All In. It's just me and then Matt does bit harmony, but we have fun, man. I have a lot of I wake up and I live my dream every day. I'm very lucky. So yeah, I relish the opportunity to do anything and everything, including stuff like this. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, dude.
Yeah, no worries. You work hard for it, and you definitely deserve it. You're one of my favorite voices to listen to when it comes to all this stuff. That's why I was so keen to listen to your Switch 2 thoughts when you recorded the Cooper cast. So yeah, no, thank you for joining me, and thank you for all your content. But everybody, thank you very much for listening to this. But we'll catch you next time for some more Switch 2 discussions, I dare say, throughout the years. Catch you later. Dum 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 dum.